These days, England fans take progression out of a tournament group for granted. We expect semi-finals at least, some expect to win it. Tonight's opponents are feet on the ground, timely reminder of where England were less than 10 years ago, being humiliated at a tournament by Iceland. On the eve of the Euros, let Wembley's Three Lions roar us off to the tournament. Here's your commentary team of former England captain Stuart Pearce, alongside your England commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good evening to you for the calm before the storm. This time next week, the Euros will be about to start. In 9 days' time, the Three Lions will embark on their latest attempt to end the years of hurt. For 18 months, since the frustrations and heartbreak of Alcor, all roads have pointed to the match a week on Sunday in Gelsenkirchen, with the constant recycling of an international team that's continued apace. In England's 14 matches over those 18 months, they've used 42 different players, with 11 debutants, 7 of whom have made the cut. And after 24 hours of discussions of squad balance, of ins and outs, of rights and wrongs, and high-profile absences, those who are on the plane can stake their claim. These warm-up games often walk a tentative line, the necessary balance between keeping cards close to the chest and a first-choice 11 given a meaningful test as a unit. Because still just over a week out, there are questions to be answered, and possibly there are still in the manager's mind as well. What's the right defensive combination? The best balance in midfield? How do you bring the best out of Phil Foden? The one thing that can be guaranteed, no stone will be left unturned. No team selections on a whim here. But it's nailed on that the starting 11 for next week's opener against Serbia will almost certainly not have played together before. This is how England line up today. Ramsdale in goal, Walker, Stones, Guehi and Trippier, Rice and Mainu, Palmer, Foden and Gordon and Kane. Iceland, Valdimarsson, Bjarkason, Ingersson, Gretarsson and Finson. Anderson, Traustason, Gudmundsson, Torstensson, Haraldsson and Gudjonsson up front. The referee, the Italian Davide Massa, who took charge of England's friendly win in Scotland earlier this season. So the final 90 minutes of action before the real business starts. A dress rehearsal to provide clarity and confidence before the main event. Iceland will always be synonymous with a real low in English footballing history. Now they provide the opposition in the final send-off before what we hope will prove to be one of the all-time highs. England in all white, Iceland in all blue, and it's England that get us off and running. With a long ball played all the way back to Ramsdale from the kickoff for Cole Palmer, an early touch for him. Flighted forward, headed on towards the edge of the penalty area, and it should be cleared relatively easily by Bjarkason, who's put under pressure, and it was too significant pressure. Now the offside flag is up as well. It's a free kick to be taken by Iceland just outside their own penalty area. Delighted to say, alongside me, the former England captain, Stuart Pearce. How many questions do you think Gareth's still got lingering in his mind ahead of the real action a week on Sunday?
In all honesty, Jim, and good evening to you, I think his main concern today, if he could come out of this game, no injuries, as Henry mentioned earlier, is a given. But if he can come out of this game with his back four and Mainu and Rice playing well, I think he'll take whatever comes in at the front end of the team. I really do. I think that's his main concern, and I think he would love to see Mainu and Rice play extremely well as well together. And we've got a bit of a problem here. One of the players, I think Stone's gone down injured, which doesn't look good.
Well, he's down. He's not moved for 25-30 seconds or so. He was trying to ride a challenge and he was almost rugby tackled to the floor by Torstensson, who put his right arm around the right thigh of John Stones and hauled him to the ground. Stones is now back on his feet without the need for treatment. The medical staff came to the edge of the technical area, but he's okay. He's going to be able to continue. You don't want an injury to any player at this stage, that goes without saying, but John Stones, if you're picking a list of 1 to 11, he's up near the top of the players that you don't want to be injured. Bearing in mind the makeup of the squad that Gareth has picked, he's gone to defend the light into this tournament from what he's done in the past. But Stones is okay, he's in possession now. Think back to 3 years ago when you and I were in Middlesbrough and Trent Alexander-Arnold picked up an injury in one of the pre-tournament games. Hopefully it'll be a clean bill of health tonight. Here, right on cue, Stones has possession again, and he'll just work it down towards Kobbie Mainoo, wearing 8 today, just his 3rd appearance for England. But notwithstanding that, even if Mainoo plays in the starting lineup against Serbia a week on Sunday in the first of England's games, it's going to be a very experienced 11 that'll be featuring. Ball played in here towards Kane, little deflection, and it's well cleared by the retreating Traustason. Crowd calling for Declan Rice to shoot. He thought better of that, lays the ball off instead to his right-hand side for Stones, who feeds his club teammate Kyle Walker. Back for Rice again. Rice now in the 50s in terms of international caps. Harry Kane winning his 91st today, so much experience in the England starting lineup. So ball's clipped in here. Finson, big blonde-haired left back, is able to get it away. And then under pressure from Mainoo, who are working further down the line. Mark Gahey is there and just sweeps up, and he will go back for Aaron Ramsdale. 3 minutes behind us. The early concern for John Stones, he seems okay. It's 0-0.
Yeah, I think the depth of the Icelandic team and the compactness of them. We spoke earlier about the interchangeable nature of having central midfield players, and probably sometime in the evening, if we don't break the deadlock, the likes of Trent Alexander with his forte for playing longer passes might be a good addition.
Mainoo goes back for Gahey. And the ball is worked out towards Kieran Trippier on the England left-hand side, but he's not playing wide on the left. He's come into a narrow position, works it out towards Walker. Chance for Walker to bring the ball forward into the feet of his former club teammate Cole Palmer, down towards Stones, and now he and Foden quickly exchange passes around the edge of the penalty area. Everyone in blue, bar one, back behind the ball. Walker in possession, works it to the right-hand edge of the penalty area. Mainoo, Foden, clip ball inside the box, and it just ran behind the on-rushing Cole Palmer and goes through towards Valdimarsson, the Brentford goalkeeper, who signed for the Bees in a £2.5 million deal from Swedish club Elfsborg back in January, but didn't see the light of day in a Brentford shirt. He's winning his 10th cap for his country tonight. And to bring the ball towards the edge of his penalty area before clearing straight past Harry Kane and long into England territory. Iceland have been in half-decent form under their experienced coach Åge Hareide. Won 3 of the last 4 games, but the one exception was the defeat that they had in failing to qualify for the Euros, beaten in the playoff by Ukraine. But they are still ranked outside the top 70 in the FIFA rankings at the moment. They're in possession here, left-hand side of the penalty area. Walker playing it back for Ramsdale, who will just clear and chip it out of play. It was a good run by Thorsteinsson down the Icelandic left. Walker getting there first and making sure that he could get it back to his goalkeeper pretty safely. Ramsdale not taking any chances, just chipping the ball out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Iceland left. Finson working inside the penalty area. It's cleared. Haraldsson trying to work it back forward again for Thorsteinsson. And Walker eventually can knock it off him and out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right-hand side.
Yeah, right, just looking at Ramsdale, as you say, he's so lightly raced, hasn't he, in match terms this season, that pass from Walker done him no favours. He was backpedaling, and in the end he ended up scalping it out of play. But from his point of view, he'll need to bed into the game as quickly as he can, Ramsdale.
5th cap for him today. I mentioned that in the team news, only his 6th appearance for club and country since the end of September. His Foden scooping a lovely ball over the top here for a very advanced run from Kieran Trippier. Kane making his way forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Gordon and Palmer both waiting in the box. Back it comes for Foden again. Another excellent ball clipped by Foden. Trippier couldn't quite get it into his stride. And it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Icelandic right.
Yeah, really shame that ended up breaking down, and probably partly due to the fact of the lack of left foot from Trippier. He got in a brilliant position, but obviously had to check out again to find a pass which was backwards, and it slowed up. But working through the thirds there, England were absolutely superb. Great switch played by Foden as well.
It is an England back line that's got 4 right-footed defenders in it. Was that a massive cause for concern?
Not a massive cause, but it is a cause for concern, there is no doubt. We are going to be missing Luke Shaw, I think, for his ability and even more so the balance that he offers the team as well.
It's an encouraging medical update that we Heard from Gareth Southgate and co yesterday with the chance that Shaw might be fit for the second of the group games, which is on June the 20th. That's the Denmark match in Frankfurt. And we will, of course, be bringing you live commentary of all 51 games from the Euros. Start this time next week. The ball is on the England right-hand side. Cole Palmer with it. Back for Stones, out quickly towards Trippier. Down the left-hand side from him to Anthony Gordon, who can't find a way past. Traustason sticking out of play for a throw. Throw that Kieran Trippier is hoping to take quickly. Kane dropping very deep in a position to try and aid that. Mainu had made a good run past him. The ball is worked into a more central position. It comes all the way across to Walker, and then Gahey will turn it forward to Mainu and get the ball back again. And now John Stones is in a position that he can bring it forward. Down the England right-hand side, Walker making a good advance run, takes a touch, gets to the byline, pulls the ball back on the edge of the penalty area. Palmer with a lovely turn, can't get into a crossing position, now works it in towards Foden on the edge of the D. Back from him to Gahey. Every England player just for a moment there, apart from goalkeeper Ramsdale, within 10 yards of the edge of the Icelandic penalty area, and all the Iceland players goal side. See how they're trying to defend this situation. Ball is with Kane, and he's won the first corner, drilling in a cross which comes off Ingerson and goes behind for a corner that will be taken on the England right. 0-0.
Yeah, we're going to have to be patient with our build-up, some good intricate passing in and around the edge of the box, but I would still like to see the likes of Walker in advanced areas there, put the ball into the box, into the danger zone, cross the ball, and then see if we can get secondary contacts on the back of that.
Corner to be taken from the England right-hand side. Phil Foden with a left-footed in-swinger, and Valdimarsson can make a very comfortable catch. England's defensive record has not been as good over the last 18 months or so as it was prior to that. And much has been made of it as well. 20 goals they've conceded in 21 games, which doesn't sound disastrous, but when you consider that they'd only conceded 13 in the previous 42, it just shows that the defensive record has gone off the boil. That's maybe in Gareth Southgate's thoughts when he's picked the squad that he has and the makeup of it that he has. Get as many attacking options as you can. England unlikely to win a tournament with a series of 1-0 victories as perhaps they could have done in the past. The big sides 2-1, 3-2 maybe in this tournament, but that's not a problem. Here's Vincent, bring the ball forward. Now Traustason plays his club football in Sweden for Norrköping. Ball swept away towards the edge of the penalty area and easily cleared. Now Gordon will chase after it, and he's just played it into space, and he'll take on Bjarkason, the right back. And now he's inside the penalty area, clipping it in, left-footed towards the penalty spot, but swept away by Gretarsson and put out a play for a throw to be taken on the England left-hand side. But he's started in a real confident vein, Anthony Gordon, down that England left.
Yeah, super run there. I mean, when we get into these wide areas, we're going to have to take players on. He done exactly that. Just got advanced and then just couldn't find the cross, couldn't dig a cross out.
And we'll lose the ball in the midfield. It's played forward for Torstensson. Hasn't got too much in the way of support as he makes his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Goodmanson was waiting. Walker picked his pocket. Stones will clear, looking for Foden. Picked up by Gretarsson. Now back for Ingerson, who was sent off against England in 2020 and giving away the penalty that England scored the winner from in that game in Reykjavik. They needed a last-minute Raheem Sterling goal to get over the line. Much more comfortable the last time the two sides met here in a game behind closed doors later that year when Declan Rice scored his first international goal. Phil Foden scored his first two for his country in a 4-0 victory. Back the ball goes to Valdimarsson. He will play out to Haraldsson. Now worked upper left flank to Finson. Vincent, the left back, just sliding the ball very cleverly between the lines, and Haraldsson making a good run forward here. Torstensson to his left-hand side, running at John Stones, works it onto his right foot and scores. Whips it into the bottom left-hand corner. An excellent passing move. And England trail at home to Iceland inside the opening 12 minutes. And if there were questions about England's potential defensive deficiencies, they certainly weren't answered there.
Well, I've got to say, Jim, when you talk about defensive frailties, I think that come from a really poor press at the front end of the team. Palmer, Kane should have been pressing a lot harder. Iceland were playing the ball around the back with no real pass on, and we let them get out. And once they got out, I'll tell you what, it was decent play in the final third. And Ramsdale beating on his near post, he'll be a little bit disappointed with that, and it's certainly a wake-up call for us.
Shown inside by John Stones onto his right foot, and he unleashed the shot, went through the legs of Stones, past Ramsdale, who maybe slightly unsighted. He went down a little late, couldn't get a right hand to it. And Torstensson, who once spent 4 years at Fulham without making a senior appearance, he just scored the biggest goal of his international career. So no clean sheet on this send-off for England, and they trail Iceland here by a goal to nil. Here's Declan Rice over on the England left-hand side. Play back through the midfield again. Ingerson clearing for Iceland. Mainu able to bring the ball down and continue his run. And it was excellent play before he ended up running into trouble. The goal scorer Torstensson now has it and clips it over the top. And it's past Kieran Trippier out towards the right-hand side. A chance for Anderson to deliver. And a better ball might have caused England problems, because Gudjonsson had made a really good run inside the penalty area. England able to get it away from him, now trying to play out from the back, and have done so very ably with a clever touch from Palmer, before Kane with a lovely turn in the midfield will be able to release Gordon. Now Foden's making his way inside the penalty area. He might not need him. Went for goal, got his foot underneath it, scoops it over the bar.
Well, to be honest with you, that chance was probably slightly better than the chance that ended up in the back of England's net a few minutes earlier. Brilliant turn by Kane on the halfway line. Used his body fantastically well. Spun, released Gordon, and then it was one-on-one. The defender lacking a bit of toe. Gordon done all the right things, cut inside, opened the goal up, and got his lines wronged on the finish.
He's scored 20 career goals, Anthony Gordon, at club level. 12 of those have come this season, almost all of them in the Premier League. He's still waiting for his first goal for England. The challenges continue to come in with real ferocity from the Icelandic players. It was Gudjonsson that time. There's a free kick that will be taken by England. Just keep an eye on John Stones' formy Stu, who went down inside the opening couple of minutes of this game. Just wondering whether he is moving with complete freedom at the moment. Walker's played it back to him here. And Stones works it through the midfield for Declan Rice. He's trying to get it between the lines in towards Foden. Can't do so. Haraldson will be able to get it away. Here and Trippier back defending. England have already shown a propensity in this game to be vulnerable to a counter-attack, and that will be worrying.
Yeah, they certainly have. As I say, they push men forward, and then with the opportunity, the Icelandic boys have sprung on us quite well.
Gordon's got it left-hand side of the penalty area, trying to get to the byline, clips the ball in, it bounces inside the 6-yard box. But the two England players who are in there waiting for it have both made a run towards the near post, and it cleared the pair of them. Palmer, the quicker to react, chases after it, but Finson's going to be able to knock it back to Grederson, and now Ingerson will be able to bring it away. Iceland leading by a goal to nil, 16 minutes in. Not the auspicious send-off that we were hoping at this stage anyway. Grederson bringing the ball forward. Way down to the left for Finson. The Icelandic players just exchanging passes at the back. We've only got 3 survivors now, Iceland, of the squad that featured at both Euro 2016 and the 2018 World Cup, the only major tournaments they've ever played in. Mistake by Pálmarsson, and the equalising goal inches away. It was a vital touch to get it away. Goalkeeper cleared it out as far as Cole Palmer, whose left-footed shot somehow is smuggled behind and goes out of play for a corner.
Well, I think Declan Rice done exactly what he should be doing there. He's gone after the goalkeeper and pressed him with real aggression. I think he just got frustrated with the players in front of him paying lip service to pressing the opposition's defence. And, part of the job that he does for Arsenal as well now.
In comes the corner from Foden. It's headed away. It was a vital touch from Grederson. You're being critical. Perhaps Anthony Gordon might have done better. Foden swing the ball inside the penalty area. Cole Palmer, I beg your pardon. Foden swing the ball inside the penalty area, and he goes out of play for a goal kick. England trailing Iceland by a goal to nil. Have had a very presentable chance to get back on level terms. Horrible moment from Valdemars and a great press from Rice. Ball just chipped by the goalkeeper straight to Palmer. He's only 16 yards out. Took a touch with his chest and then fired it in left-footed, and it hit Grederson and just went the right side of the post as far as Iceland were concerned, to make sure that their lead stays intact. Torstensson, the goal scorer, working back for Grederson. He will find his goalkeeper, and it's a much more assured touch from him this time. 18 gone here on Talksport, and England behind.
Yeah, it's certainly an element of England's play that we really need to improve on, the pressing from the front, because certainly if teams like Iceland can get a goal in front, they'll sit back, they'll play it around the back, and you're running the clock down, you lose momentum within your team. So I don't think we're particularly great at that. I think that could have improved, and that might point to the fact that we've conceded the goals we have over the last year or so, Jim.
Traustason losing out in the midfield. He was put under immediate pressure. Foden couldn't make the most of it. Kane will be able to get his foot on the ball, and he works it back for Gay. He's winning his 91st cap tonight, Harry Kane, which takes him above Brian Robson and up into England's top 10 all-time capped internationals, and still, you would imagine, many more to come yet. Also has the opportunity of tying an all-time England record tonight of scoring in 7 successive home international appearances. He scored the other night off the bench against the Bosnians to take him to 6. He's one behind the record, the first set back in the 19th century by the Derby County striker Steve Bloomer, and emulated not that long ago by Wayne Rooney. England work the ball forward here between the lines, but straight out of play down the inside left channel for a goal kick that Valdemars will take. And it hasn't been a great 19 minutes so far. Gareth Southgate just coming to the edge of his technical area and telling his players just to calm things down, don't panic.
Yeah, well, certainly panic is not helpful at this stage. I think just to organise our press a little bit better from the front is certainly going to be a way that will turn things over. But we've got to do it a little bit more aggressively. I don't think it's part of the play of probably Gordon, Foden and Palmer that they particularly enjoy, even Harry Kane.
But it's an essential part of the game. So what needs to be done? Why is that press not working? Is it just players not doing what they've been told to do?
Well, I think there's been a couple of times already where you can sense, you get a feeling in a game where the opposition haven't got a pass, so they've run out of ideas. If you don't spring from that when you pick up that delay a couple of seconds, a pass becomes available, and it's like Declan's just shown there. Declan Rice has looked at it and thought, you know what, I'm not having this, I'm not having them passing the ball around the back, freed himself up from his deep lying role and went after the ball and nearly turned it over off the goalie.
And he's making his way forward again here, links up with Mainu, out it goes towards the left-hand side for Anthony Gordon. Newcastle's Player of the Year will turn out of trouble and expertly play a little 1-2 with Mainu. Gordon's been lively so far, he started really well. Back out towards Trippier, level with the edge of the penalty area. Back from him towards Mainu, rolled in for Foden. Foden couldn't really get hold of it around the left channel, and a low cross-come shot ends up in the hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, intricate passing around the edge of the box, and when Phil was played in the box, I think he was trying to get his body round it to pull it back a little bit. I'm surmising, unless he was going for the far corner. If he was going for the far corner, certainly not enough pace or direction on it.
A long ball over the top, and they got goal side of Kieran Trippier again. And Anderson has been lively on that right-hand side in the early stages for Iceland. He's timed his runs well, knows that he's got the beating of Trippier for pace. Starts half a yard behind him, but very quickly makes that up. And that is another area of concern as far as England are concerned. Mikael Anderson, who's a late call-up into this squad, a player who plays his club football in Denmark. And he started one of the qualifiers, but has made a good start of this one tonight. Forward down towards the England right-hand side now. Midway inside the Icelandic half. It's 1-0 to Iceland. Torstensson scoring the goal about 10 minutes or so ago here on Talksport. We're midway through the first half. Harry Kane, again coming very deep, picking up the play, 10 yards outside the box, opens up the right foot, chips one out towards the left-hand side of the penalty area where it's nodded down by Trippier for Gordon. Rice clipping it over the top, Kane stretching under no pressure, but he couldn't quite reach the ball. And it drifts into the hoardings and out of play for a goal. I think better for them.
Yeah, it was, and Declan will be disappointed with that. There was a perfect opportunity. 3 runners he eventually had springing in behind the back line of Iceland, and he got the pass, just overhit it. He had Kane, Palmer and Foden, I think, going in, and just overhit the pass.
Midway through the first half here, and similarly midway through the first half at Hampden Park. Let's get the latest. Scotland against Finland from Talksport's Paul Mitchell.
And it's Scotland 0, Finland 0. Finland actually with the better of the chances so far. Terhouse saw a shot blocked by Tierney. Scotland's reaction, a poor clearance picked up by Shankland at the edge of the box, but he shot over. Goalless here so far, Jim.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. Game in Mönchengladbach as well tonight. Germany against Greece, similarly midway through the first half, and that one is also 0-0. We'll keep you up to date with that. 1-0 to Iceland here. Only side to have scored an international goal in the 7:45 kickoffs tonight. And Traustason in possession will play down towards Finson, the left back from him to Gretarsson. If England don't turn this around to win, and they'll be going into the tournament itself with only 1 win in 5 games, which will be inauspicious for them to take to Germany, although clearly it's not what happens here tonight that is significant. It's what happens in those 3 games. I know that you know the timetable, but it is Serbia in Gelsenkirchen a week on Sunday, followed by Denmark on June the 20th, Frankfurt, then Cologne for the match against Slovenia. England overwhelming favourites to top the group. And you'll hear every kick that counts throughout the course of the tournament here on Talksport. All 51 games being covered live. Declan Rice in possession here for England, finding Walker inside the centre circle, from him to Stones, and now work very quickly down towards Cole Palmer. Palmer cutting it onto his left foot, working it in towards Kane, who was trying to roll Gretarsson, couldn't do so, and the ball is cleared by the Icelandic number 6 and put out of play for a throw on the England right hand side.
Yeah, I think we've been a little bit guilty of overplaying it in and around the box. We've been very intricate. We've got ball players that enjoy that type of thing. But I think once we've had a few intricate passes on the edge of the box, if it does come into wide areas, find a cross and encourage that ball into the box and runners coming in to get on the end of it.
Walker to Rice to Mainu around the edge of the penalty area, and then hit deeper for Gahey, who's now Crystal Palace's most capped England international of all time. Work back through the midfield for Rice. And now out towards the right-hand side for Stones. Stones to Walker. Walker back towards the halfway line again. England just maintaining possession, trying to work the Icelandic defensive unit that is frequently a line of 6 on the edge of the penalty area when they haven't got possession. Difficult for England to break down, but a worthwhile test, bearing in mind the identities of the teams that England will be playing in the tournament. Expect 2 of the 3, as Henry Winter was saying earlier, to back up behind the ball and give England this kind of examination. Here's Rice. Rice towards the edge of the centre circle, comes back inside his own half. Back to his right-hand side for Stones, and back for Rice again. And now played for by Foden. As England send the first of their substitutes out to warm up. It's the reaction you can hear behind us. Nice ball from Rice. Down towards Walker, chesting it down on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Back from him to Stones, into the feet of Rice, and back for Stones again. Now Trippier coming into the centre of midfield. Mainu with a good turn, trying to twist away, gets it through the legs of the nearest Icelandic player, that was Anderson. Mainu again. Ball that bypasses Gordon, worked by Trippier, back through the midfield for Stones. Plenty of possession for England, but not necessarily going forward with it. And then when they do turn it forward, Foden couldn't control it. Now be knocked away by Bjarkason. He's put under continued pressure by Phil Foden. He can find his goalkeeper, and Valdimarsson will be able to get it forward towards halfway, where England have made a very good job of winning it back through Gahey. Here's Rice.
Gahey's done very well, Jim, hasn't he? With long balls forward, he's quite clever, uses his body well, nips in front of people, and done really well in stopping attacks.
Gordon coming in off that left-hand touchline. Back from him to Foden, to Trippier. And now play forward towards Phil Foden again. England still lacking that incisiveness about the final pass. The chance that they have created coming from, or the best chance that they've created coming from the press from Declan Rice on the goalkeeper, which forced the error. Stones, the Gahey, and we'll work it forward again towards the edge of the box. Good quick feet from Rice, then clips it down towards the right-hand side. Crowd appreciating that. Back it comes for Palmer, left-footed ball in from him, and scooped over the bar by Harry Kane. Much better from England that time. Good movement inside the penalty area, and Kane will be very disappointed from 6 yards out that he hasn't hit the target there. Great movement, might just have been offside.
Well, that's an understatement, being disappointed. As I say, good play there, good overlap by Walker. Palmer comes inside, dips his shoulder, whips it in. He's onside as well. And he just hit it on the volley, which he had to do. Oh, and he's hit it on his shin, which is unlike Harry Kane. Normally, the technique is perfect.
And just a little shin-up from Kane, clearing the bar. It's probably 7 yards out by the time he scored it. And that he scored 49 goals in 51 games for club and country this season, hoping then for his 50th goal of the season. It will be his 64th international goal. He comes into this back at 12 in 12 in an England shirt, and should have made it 1-1 there. Ball out on the right-hand side. Kane did play in that game in Euro 2016 against Iceland. He'll be the only player in England's squad for the Euros who've played in 4 major tournaments in the past. So Pickford, Trippier, Walker, Shaw and Stones have all played in 3 each. And there are another 5 players who played in a couple. So plenty of experience. Valdemarsson has the ball at his feet, the Icelandic goalkeeper. He's passing it out towards Ingerson. Ingerson to Bjarkason and back again. And Ingerson, the centre-half, goes back for his goalkeeper, and Kane pays lip service at applying the press. No real intensity in it. Gahey knocks the long ball from the goalkeeper away. And Rice will run round it on the halfway line for England and work it back for Kieran Trippier. Stuart, we're 29 minutes in, and aside from the scoreline, which I know won't bother you unduly with an hour still to go, but what elements of the performance have caused you most cause for concern?
The big concern is the pressing from the front, because at this moment the Icelandic players are growing in confidence playing out from the back, because there's no intensity from England. Now, when you're behind in a game, or even playing any of the sides, sometimes it's a good element for your attacking play to press really well. If you turn it over further up the pitch, you've got more chance of scoring quickly. And we've been so poor, certainly the front 4, in pressing with any intensity at all.
Well, if you're going to have an aspect to your performance that is disappointing, I guess it's best to have it in the warm-up game, where they've still got 9 days to work on it on the training ground and to analyse the things that have gone wrong. But it's not been great from England so far. Don't forget, after the game, your chance to react. Adam Catterall and Carlton Cole will be taking your calls, and interspersed with them all of the live reaction from the tunnel with our Talksport England correspondent Faye Carruthers. It's a sports bar from 10 o'clock tonight. You can have your say on 03717 22 3344. And then tomorrow morning, Faye's back with an England special with Henry Winter and Stuart amongst their guests, analysing this performance and looking ahead to the tournament itself. It's 9 till 12 tomorrow morning on Talksport. It's 1-0 Iceland at the moment. We've played 31 minutes and Harry Kane's in possession. Clips it forward in towards the feet of Phil Foden. Controls it, plays the way that he's facing, back for Stones. Gahey now to Stones again. And Stones bringing the ball forward away from the edge of the centre circle. John Stones, who started each of England's last 19 games in major tournaments. He won't be alongside Harry Maguire, who started the last 10 of those. Maguire has started each of England's last 21 competitive matches, but that run ended by injury, much to his frustration. And as Adrian was saying earlier, it's impossible not to feel deeply sorry for Maguire and the situation that he finds himself in and the timing of that injury. England caught offside again, the second time in as many minutes as the ball is worked out towards Anthony Gordon. in this first half that has had little to write home about so far, but for that Harry Kane missing would be 1-1. It is 1-0 to Iceland. Haven't had a shot since scoring that goal on 12 minutes.
No, as I say, Iceland can have a breather. Every time they've got the ball at the back, they can have a breather. No intensity from England to press it, so that makes their life a little bit easier. They're not playing at high panic level, Iceland, because England are not forcing them into those errors at the back. And I think as well, probably as part of our game, when we do get into these wide areas, the quality of crossing and encouraging players to get in the box will be helpful.
Walker in possession, back towards Phil Foden. Foden getting it through the midfield, squeezed in towards Cole Palmer. He got it away from Johan Gudmundsson, who's without a club after his release from Burnley. Now over on the left-hand side of the penalty area, chance for Palmer to deliver, gets it in, and it hits the nearest defender, Ingerson, but that puts it out of play for England's third corner of the night. 33 gone, 1-0 to Iceland.
Better by England there, good build-up play. Palmer just getting stopped when he's about to deliver the ball into the box. Good opportunity here from a corner. Declan Rice going out to take on the left-hand side.
Spots the ball down now. He's got Mainu waiting unmarked on the edge of the D. Every Icelandic player back inside the penalty area. Kane stands near the penalty spot. He's trying to get away from Gudmundsson, the Icelandic captain who's marking him. Swept inside that 6-yard box. Valdimarsson punches clear. Goes back out towards the left. Better ball in this time. That one also headed away as Ingerson patrols the defensive line very effectively. The loose ball breaks towards halfway, but Kobbie Mainoo's the first to rescue it. 4 from him towards Cole Palmer. Palmer to Gahey. Out towards the England left-hand side. Back it comes for Rice. Down towards Walker again. Walker inside the centre circle to Foden. It's a clever little flick from Foden, who clipped it with the instep of his right foot and nutmeg Finson in the process. Great ball, which almost found Palmer. And Iceland are able to clear, and England take a throw quickly. I don't think there was anybody that divided opinion in terms of the level of their performance the other day, like Cole Palmer. I saw several rave reviews talking about the way that he played, but also saw a couple of not scathing criticisms of him, but few assessments that he hadn't been able to get into the game as much as he would like before scoring the penalty with his last kick before he was taken off. A slightly different role for him today in a position out on the right-hand side that Jared Bowen had in the starting lineup the other night. Here's Declan Rice. Rice forward towards Foden. Foden to Mainu, back for Rice. Good run forward here from Stones down the right-hand side of the penalty area, who takes a touch, chests it down, scoops it with his right foot back towards Walker. It was good play from England to stretch the play on that occasion. Rice now can bring it forward. Stones is still up there. Walker working it back for Foden. Foden working it square towards Kieran Trippier. Back from him to Gahey. Gahey to Stones again. This is all England passing in very close quarters. And those in blue diligently doing their best to try and cut out the passing avenues, but the play past Traustason there. Foden for Walker. Now towards Cole Palmer, who shapes the cross with his left foot, does cross with his right, and Iceland are able to get it away, but barely outside the penalty area. Mainu taking charge for England, lays it back for Walker. Walker towards Rice, good movement across the edge of the area from Palmer, but Foden was the pass he tried to pick out, and he just played it half a second too late, and it goes out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I've got to say, Jim, I was probably one of those people that probably wasn't overwhelmed with Palmer as much as some were in some quarters. As I say, for me, the two that grabbed my attention were Gallagher and Eze in the England lineup over the 90 minutes.
Neither of whom are playing tonight. What have you made of Palmer's contribution so far? Because it is a different role for him, playing at 10 the other night, but playing as a more orthodox right winger, and not an out-and-out right winger, because he does have the licence to push inside. We've seen him in inside left on occasions, but probably a role to which he's slightly more favoured this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been steady. He's played his part within the build-up and whatever. I think at times this game probably needs someone akin to Eze that grabbed the game in the first half up at Newcastle and just run at the opposition, got turned and went after the opposition. We're being very, very intricate in the way we're trying to play, and I think Iceland have sat into a shape nice and deep and said, you know what, don't overly bother us that much. You know, if someone makes a bad run, we'll catch you offside, and you're not pressing us particularly aggressively, so we can pass the ball around the back and kill your momentum.
Here's Kane chipping one over the top, finding Kyle Walker. We're not the only established nation who aren't having a great dress rehearsal tonight, because Germany and Mönchengladbach are a goal down at home to Greece, and Georgios Masouras, the Olympiakos player, has scored that, and Greece lead in Germany by a goal to nil. Here Iceland lead with the 12th minute strike from Torstensson, which remains Iceland's only side of goal in the entire night. England themselves have only had one shot on target. As Kane picks up possession, again coming deep to do so, turns it out towards Kyle Walker. Walker, right-footed delivery from him, very hot, and whizzes past everybody inside the penalty area, way past Anthony Gordon coming in, and it goes out of play for a throw that'll be able to be taken over on the Icelandic right-hand side. We'll go back to Hampden, find out how Scotland are getting on. Here's Talksport's Paul Mitchell.
We're seeing an awful lot of the ball, 68% possession so far, but neither team able to make the breakthrough. Scotland struggling a little bit to try and find a way through. Anthony Ralston on the right-hand side is getting a lot of opportunities to put the ball in, but nothing too good yet. Scotland 0, Finland 0.
There, Greece leading in Germany, Iceland leading here at Wembley by a goal to nil. Iceland managed by Åge Hareide, who, if you're my age, you'll remember as a player for Manchester City and Norwich in the 1980s. He really made his name in the Norwegian side that beat England in 1981, which was your boys had taken a hell of a beating night. So he has been on the winning side against England in his playing career. It's the first time he's faced them in his illustrious managerial career. He had a really good spell in charge of Denmark, where he lost only 3 out of 42 games, and was in charge in Norway before that. And so far, his Iceland side doing him proud. They lead 1-0 in a regimented rear guard action after getting themselves ahead. Mainu to Rice. Declan Rice will play it out to the England left-hand side for Anthony Gordon. A good little trip from him. And left Bjarkason on the deck. Right-footed ball chips inside the area. Gretarsson can head it away. And then coming across, there he is. He won the throw. No, he hasn't. He's given it away. He just couldn't quite flick it off Gudjonsson, which was his intention. And he goes out of play for a throw that will be taken over on the Icelandic right-hand side. Stu, we're at 5 minutes from half-time. And England still trail, and still not a lot of purpose about them going forward.
No, as I say, we looked at the lineup and you looked at the front four and you thought how exciting that is, and all of a sudden it might be a case of this performance may have just checked a few people, certainly in the game, that are thinking it's not all about putting your best players in there thinking it's going to be a really exciting lineup. Sometimes you have to have a few dogs in there to break play up of the opposition, all of those type of things. It's a team game, and you've got to make sure that you've got all those members in the team that have got different aspects to their game, which might be not playing all the best players all the time.
I know you were infusing about the performance of Conor Gallagher the other night, and you've already again tonight reiterated that you thought he was the man of the match from an England perspective the other night, but is he one that you feel is missing? Do you think there'd be a better balance about England in the midfield if he was in there instead of Mainu was in?
I think somebody needs to get on the front foot and press hard, because at the moment they're finding it too easy to play out through the backs, which in turn slows the momentum of the game down. It means we have levels of the game where we don't get on the ball at all and can't sustain attacks. I'm not suggesting he's the cure for everything, but certain games need certain individuals.
Here is Mainu in possession now. The Manchester United man works it forward. Foden very nearly able to get Gordon in. Gordon just making a run off the back of Traustason, but he couldn't quite play him in, and Finson is going to be able to knock it away, and then he scooped forward again. Gudjonsson chasing after it. A better ball from Haraldsson might have caused England problems. Ramsdale races outside the penalty area and gets there ahead of Gudjonsson, but a ball to turn the England back line's been all too easy.
It has. There's been about 3 or 4 that have gone in behind our back line that have been very nervous moments for England.
Andre Gudjonsson chasing that one. Son of Ida, his grandfather Arne once scored against England back in the early 1980s. third generation of his family to play international football under. He was born in London when Ida was a Chelsea player. 15 goals in Danish football this season. He's just signed for Ghent in Belgium for next season. Hasn't had too many opportunities tonight, but always a willing runner, playing through the middle to try and get himself in between Gahey and Trippier. Iceland have got the ball again at the back. Edison with a long ball forward. As he misdirected it, he has. It just bounces away from Torstensson and goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the England right-hand side. 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. And it's still 1-0 to Iceland.
I think it'll be important to quantify and... this is the last game before a major tournament, and the players will be acutely aware they don't want any injuries at all. They've been named in the squad. This is the squad that's going, and everyone knows they're on the aeroplane.
Lovely long ball forward from Stones, and the recipient Gordon hammers it across. It's deflected away and out for another corner. Kane got goal side of his marker. If Gordon could have beaten the nearest defender. Goes out of play for a corner that will be taken on the England left. Their fourth of the first half as the half-time whistle approaches.
Yeah, as I say, it would be ideal if England could get something back just to go in on parity at half-time.
Corner that England will take on the left. Kane waits on the edge of the 6-yard box. Foden is in behind him. Gordon and Gahey both standing inside the 6-yard box. Gordon and Palmer come to meet it, but Valdimarsson, the goalkeeper, is able to get there first. And he's in no hurry to get the ball clear from inside his own penalty area. Just touching on something that you mentioned there about the England players not wanting to get injured. Is that an element of this performance, do you think, that they know they're not going through the motions, but they know that more significant battles are lying ahead, so maybe subconsciously you just ease off the gas a little bit? I'll get your thoughts on that in a moment. Haraldsson plays it forward for Torstensson, but his ball back is slightly overhit, and England can mop up easily enough at the back with Stones getting it forward. Palmer then laying it back for Walker, a brisk one. Foden clipping it clear from inside his own penalty area. And England should be able to play out, but Palmer has given it away. And Torstensson will take it down towards the corner flag, and now pulls it back from the edge of the dead ball line, and a right-footed shot from the edge of the area from Traustason deflects away and goes out of play for a corner. It could easily have been 2.
Well, that was a magnificent block by Gahey there. He just come out the back line, and listen, that shot was on its way. There's no doubt about that, and he's done brilliantly. Really brave, spread his body. He's broken up play pretty well today when he's had to, and that was the most important intervention that he's participated in this half.
Yeah, it looks as though it crept inside the left-hand post. In comes the corner. It's Iceland's first. It's in very deep. Headed back by an unmarked player on the far side of the penalty area. England win the seconds, and then Gahey is brought down as a cynical challenge that is going to earn a yellow card. And England having the opportunity to counter-attack, and that was very quickly broken up. But Mark Gahey's defensive performance has been one of the standout moments in the opening 45 minutes for England. It's Ingerson that's been booked, and we're in one additional minute at the end of this first half.
Yeah, as I say, it looks as though we're going to go in a goal down. Not the end of the world by any standard of play. I don't know whether Gareth would have looked at this and the result will influence any subs that he might particularly make or wouldn't have made accordingly.
Mainu. Was the right-hand side of the penalty area. Palmer's left-footed ball clipped inside the box is chased after, but not received by any of the England players, and the half-time whistle blows. And Iceland lead by a goal to 0. The odd isolated boo for England as they leave the field, which is a little mystifying in the grand scheme of things. England have not been great by any stretch of the imagination. Torstensson with the goal on 12 minutes. They've only had one shot since, but for a great Mark Gahey block, that might have gone in as well. Harry Kane's missed England's best chance. They'll improve in the second period, but they have to. Half-time, it's 1-0 to Iceland.
Look, this happened Monday. First half was poor. Opponents massed behind the ball, but the game lasts 90 minutes, not 45, so I think everybody should calm down a little bit. I'm intrigued to find out later at 10 o'clock on the Sports Bar what Adam Castro and Carlton Cole have to say, because they've both had a massive downer on Gareth Southgate, calling on him to play a more attacking lineup. Well, Stuart Pearce, he's doing exactly that. It's a very attacking lineup from Gareth Southgate, but England are losing. Why?
We're not pressing well enough from the front. We're allowing Iceland to build up at their own leisure and being nice and comfortable. What does that do? It makes them build up and play through the thirds when they can. It also allows us not to turn the ball over in the final third, and it allows them to get comfortable and break momentum of the game. That's partly it. I think for too long, especially on the right hand side, we got into wide areas but not cross the ball. So what does that do? It doesn't encourage players to make the box and get in there and pick up seconds from it. I enjoy watching us play little triangles to try and break our way into the box and that type of thing, which is fine. But you have to have another element to your game when you're not breaking the opposition down. You have to, if you do get it wide, all of a sudden the ball's got to come in the box with good quality crosses. I don't think we've seen enough good quality crosses from us when we've been in wide areas.
Phil Foden at 10, discuss. Has that been good enough from him in that first half?
I think he's been reasonable. He's got on the ball. I've seen him on the ball enough. I think we're playing neat little 1-2s, but sometimes what's got to happen is you've got to play through the middle, get Phil on the ball, get him turned, and if he can find a pass that puts someone in, brilliant. If he can't, it might be an intricate pass that might end up, if the door's been shut, that it's got to come back out, go out wide, ball in the box, someone clears it, Foden gets on the end of it. All of those type of things have got to happen. I think we're being a little bit one-dimensional, if anything.
Let's talk about the goal then, because you were talking about the lack of press, exactly spot on. John Stones could have done better. Aaron Ramsdale's face gave it away. He thought he could have done better. So many different areas in the build-up to that goal and the execution of that goal where England could have done better.
100%. And listen, Iceland had the ball playing it in their last third, and I'm thinking, you ain't got a pass on here, son. And if we go with intensity, you'll be in trouble and we'll turn the ball over. No one did. So we played lip service to it, jogged to the next one. Okay, I'll jog to the next one. They were unable to pass out, and I was so gutted that A, it hit the back of our net, but more importantly, I was going to say to Jim, this is the problem. We're not pressing hard enough here, and all of a sudden I had to make the point about pressing when it hit the back of our net. But you could see the dangers there. You've got to understand, and strikers don't see the pressing side of the game as critical as us defenders do, you know. But I'm sat up here watching the game and thinking, go on, go after him. He hasn't got a pass on. But we didn't. And they played through the thirds and scored.
Remember 2016 when Iceland beat us, and one of the big headlines from that was Harry Kane taking corners. We're seeing Declan Rice take corners tonight, which I don't think I've seen regularly before. But what's weird about that for me, Stuart, is I don't think we're the biggest side in the world. He's 6 foot plus. So what on earth is he doing taking the corners? Shouldn't he be in the middle?
Well, I think he's done it regularly for Arsenal. You know, he's got great delivery, but we're short of height. It's fair to say we've got players in our team that their forte isn't heading the ball, to be quite honest with you. So we're a bit short, but he still likes, you've got to get the delivery right. That's the premise that us coaches work to. If you don't get the delivery right, and if he's the best one to deliver, then so be it.
And we have seen Arsenal score more goals from corners, way more goals from corners over the course of this season than any other team, and Rice takes half of them. So
but the problem with that is, Jim, the reason Arsenal score from corners is because they're fouling the keeper and getting away with it. It's nothing to do with the delivery. Anybody can deliver it. These are all elite players. You've got Palmer on the field, you've got Phil Foden on the field, you've got Trippier on the field. They can all take corners. But not all of them are 6'2" like Declan Rice.
So, Adrian, what you're saying is England need Ben White to come and sit on the opposing goalkeeper. I think that will be a difficult conversation.
Yeah, any chance, Ben? But I listen, it just feels like a wasted opportunity, Henry, when you consider the lack of height that England have got.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, about how England are going to miss Harry Maguire because he is such a threat, an attacking threat, and obviously also defensively, how it's good. Can I pick up on something in your fantastic commentary in the first half? The lack of pressing from the front. And I think the contrast towards the end with Iceland, their pressing of Palmer, 3 of their attacking players, it was an absolute ambush, and it was only a good Gahey block that actually sort of bailed England out there. But the contrast between England's slightly powder puffs is unfair, but they need to have more urgency, as Jim and Stuart have been saying in commentary, and actually sort of close down these teams. Because look, it's not a hot evening, you know, just go and get into them a bit more.
And a quick note about what's been going on in the warm-up at half-time. Ezri Konsa came out for a very energetic warm-up just for a couple of minutes. He's taken his bib off He's made his way down the tunnel, having picked up his white shirt from the bench, so I think Conser will be on for the start of the second half.
For Stones?
Well, quite possibly.
Because you saw in the first few minutes he got his right angle trapped under one of the Icelandic players, and he has played less than 2 hours football in 48 days. I can understand why Gareth wants to get minutes into him, but he's also got to protect him.
He has. Half-time, England are losing by a goal to 0 in the final friendly before they go off to the Euros, which starts, it'll be underway this time next week, and it'll be Scotland against Germany, the first game in Munich, and I'll be there for Talksport. We'll bring that game to you live, as we'll bring every game of the Euros to you live across the Talksport network during the Euros. Let's find out how Scotland have got on in the first half of their last friendly against Finland. Paul Mitchell.
It's Scotland 0, Finland 0. A muted performance from Scotland in front of a busy but strangely and eerily quiet Hampden Park. Finland arguably have had the better chances. Kieran Tierney showing his reading of the game to make a couple of important blocks. Alangus Garn with a couple of saves you'd simply expect him to make. Lawrence Shankland's had Scotland's best chance, pouncing on a loose clearance to create the opportunity for himself. That came from the right hand edge of the box where he lifted his shot high. Second half will be better. That will be the hope of Steve Clarke. But it's a hard-working Finland side who are proving very difficult to break through. Half-time in Hampden, Scotland 0, Finland 0.
What a day of rugby. Both coached tomorrow on the Talksport network. The Gallagher Premiership final is live on Talksport. Northampton and Bath meet at a sold-out Twickenham, where the build-up will begin from 2:30. Kick-off at 3. The former Bath second rower Matt Garby and the former England international, just the 137 caps and a World Cup win, Rocky Clark, will be alongside the best rugby union commentator in the business, Andrew McKenna. Over on Talksport 2 at the same time, it's Warrington Wolves and Wigan Warriors meeting here at Wembley for Rugby League's Challenge Cup final. The best rugby league commentator in the business, Mark Wilson, alongside Challenge Cup winner Paul Cook. He got the winning try for Hull FC in 05. And Craig Murdoch, who was twice in the Wigan squad that won the cup. And Stuart Pearce will be here at Wembley for that, as well as celebrity Warrington Wolves fan.
Wash your mouth out, my friend.
I almost transferred you there, didn't I? How confident are you?
I think if we play to the style that we have of recent weeks, we've got every chance of taking the trophy home. But listen, it's against Wigan. Wigan are on a fantastic side, arguably the show this season, the best side form-wise consistently. I think it'll be a brilliant showpiece at Wembley. I'm really looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Stuart Pearce will be here. Talksport 2 will be here for that Gallagher Premiership on Talksport tonight here at Wembley. It's football action. We've not seen too much so far from an England point of view. They trail Iceland by a goal to 0. Second half coming next.
Put your Three Lions knowledge to the ultimate test with the all-new Talksport Football Trivia board game, England Edition. Use your on-target trivia skills to take on all challengers and score the ultimate board game bragging rights just in time for the summer of football. Featuring hundreds of weird and wonderful questions about the England men's football team. The Talksport Football Trivia board game, England Edition. Available now at shop.talksport.com.
And another change now. Rodgers comes on, the veteran right back. And now the third choice goalie enters the field. They can barely contain themselves here. With new Super Sub from Paddy Power, all subs are now super. Because if a player in your bet is subbed off, it carries over to the new player coming on. Paddy Power. Football, you gotta love it. Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Access big trade deals and other Travis perks only with a Travis Perkins trade account. Like 18mm Indian sandstone from $18.95 per square metre and outdoor porcelain tiles for $24.95 per square metre. Bit of a mouthful.
What? 18mm Indian sandstone from $18.95 per square metre and outdoor porcelain tiles for $24.95 per square metre?
Yeah.
Nah.
Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade. Prices ex 20% VAT.
Discover more big trade deals at travisperkins.co.uk. Terms apply.
All right.
Electric drills, electric screwdrivers, electric mowers, saws and sanders. Electric tools increase productivity. Like the new all-electric Ford E-Transit Custom with Ford Pro. And until the end of June, you can get £1,000 deposit allowance on 3-year Ford options finance with 0% APR. What's more, visit gov.uk to see if you're also eligible for a government plug-in grant of up to £5,000. Search Ford EV Switch Promotion. Ford Pro, driving productivity.
What to give Colin from the office for his birthday? Sure, you know how he feels about spreadsheet maintenance and the latest upgrade of the work IT system, but his hopes, loves and needs... Nope, no idea. So, why not give a scratch card from the National Lottery? What's not to like about that? The National Lottery. Best gift ever. Please gift responsibly, and remember, you need to be 18 to buy, gift and play. Even though it's a gift, rules and procedures apply.
If you own a timeshare, you may have been missold and could be owed substantial compensation. Text timeshare to 78900 to find out more.
Introducing Epic Deals! People in the trade love Rexel's Epic Deals. Like the Makita 12-volt impact driver and combi drill kit with batteries. £112 plus 20% VAT. Or Lutex spike lights from just £15 plus 20% VAT. That's epic! Grab these deals today. Visit your local branch or rexel.co.uk. Subject to availability, conditions apply. Rexel.
Make a great job better. Can't beat the races.
I like flat racing.
Especially Ascot.
I love the top hats.
You have your bets on for the races, you've talked about it with your mates.
Zero strategy behind who I choose.
I back the outsider.
I study the form.
I always pick the favourite.
However you pick your horses for Royal Ascot, bet Fred. For price boosts and extra places throughout the festival. Love Royal Ascot, bet Fred. Official bookmaker of Ascot and Royal Ascot. Selected races only, 18 plus for gambleaware.org.
Kick off your Sunday morning with a weekend sports breakfast on Talksport with goals. The free football pullout with the Sun. Scores! Lace up your boots with the nation's brightest sports breakfast, featuring insider news, big match previews, and expert analysis from Tony Cascarino and Natalie Sawyer.
Oh, it's absolutely magnificent!
Get fully loaded for football with a weekend sports breakfast, Sunday morning from 6 on Talksport with goals. The essential free football pullout with the Sun every Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
Straightforward, straight talking, and straight to the point.
What a challenge!
Kick off international special on Talksport.
The final 90 minutes of action before the real business starts. A dress rehearsal to provide clarity and confidence before the main event. And it's England that get us off and running. Torstensson to his left-hand side, running at John Stones. Works it onto his right foot and scores. Whips it into the bottom left-hand corner. And England trail at home to Iceland inside the opening 12 minutes. Foden's making his way inside the penalty area. He might not need him. Went for goal. Got his foot underneath it, scoops it over the bar. Pulls it back from the edge of the dead ball line, and a right-footed shot from the edge of the area from Torstensson. Deflects away and goes out of play for a corner. It could easily have been two. The grand scheme of things, England have not been great by any stretch of the imagination. They'll improve in the second period, but they have to. Half-time, it's 1-0 to Iceland.
I'm Adrian Durham. This is Talksport live at Wembley for England 0. Iceland 1 with the second half to come. The Football Journalist of the Year, Henry Winter, alongside us for Talksport, and is going to be with us for the Euros as well in Germany. I'm really looking forward to your company during the Euros, Henry. Should we be worried about John Stones? He may be coming off at half-time, but the goal, he played his part in Iceland taking the lead here, didn't he?
Well, he did. I mean, he was. The shot went through him. He was a bit slow to get out, but I just think it was, as the guys were saying in commentary, that the pressing has to start from the front. And it looked like there were a few sort of angry looks, well, not angry looks, but sort of quizzical looks in midfield. When Iceland broke, did Foden do enough? Did Mainu do enough? Obviously, where was Kyle Walker? Now, if that had been Trent Alexander playing right back, there would have been, Twitter would have been absolutely ablaze saying Trent Alexander can't defend. Kyle Walker's a fantastic right back. He's one of, we've seen the battles that he's had with the sort of great players, but he should have been back there.
He should. He wasn't. And Iceland lead by a goal to 0. 51 matches, by the way, at the Euros, all live and official on the Talksport network. So download the Talksport app for easy access to both Talksport and Talksport 2, and follow us on all our social media platforms as well. There'll be so much content on those throughout the course of the Euros. Many of our shows will be live streamed on the Talksport YouTube channel as well. Right now, it's all about this friendly here at Wembley. England losing to Iceland. I feel like I'm back in Nice, 2016. England 0, Iceland 1, second half on Talksport with Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
We'll never be back there. We'll never hit that low again, I promise you. John Stones off, and Ezri Konsa is on. Konsa, who made his debut against Brazil, his first start against Belgium, where he was a right back but very quickly moved into the centre when Kyle Walker was injured. He played at right back, left back and centre half on Monday. He's playing at centre half tonight on the right. of the two centre-halves. So it's Konsa alongside Gahey in the middle at the start of this second half for England. It's the only change that either side have made. Iceland in all blue, leading by a goal to nil. England lining up Ramsdale in goal, Walker, Konsa, Gahey and Trippier, Rice and Mainu, Palmer, Foden, Gordon and Kane. Iceland, Valdimarsson in goal, Bjarkason, Ingersson, Gretarsson and Finnsson, Traustason alongside Gudmundsson, Anderson, Haraldsson, Torstensson the goal scorer, and Gudjonsson playing through the middle. England in possession, kicking from right to left in all white kit. And Kobbie Mainoo sends the ball out towards the right-hand side for Ezri Konsa. Konsa winning his 4th cap for his country today. And inside the centre circle, now finding Kieran Trippier. Trippier now towards Anthony Gordon. Gordon coming in off the left flank, works it in towards Phil Foden. A back from Foden to Gordon again, clipped inside the area. Kane with a deft little flick of the head, but couldn't get the angle right. Valdimarsson had a nervous look over his left shoulder. Very quickly assessed that it was going to go well wide. Out of play, goal kick, 1-0 to Iceland. A minute into the second half here on Talksport. You and I both in the company of Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, good intricate play there by England. Good set up on the outside, and when they had the chance, they put it in the box. And the likes of Harry Kane, he'll be desperate for the team to put more balls in the box. It's certainly an avenue that he scored a lot of goals over his career at.
Now the ball has gone out of play for what looked like an Iceland throw. England took the throw quickly, and the referee said get on with it. And 3 Iceland players all stood with their hands outstretched, wondering what was going on, but the Italian officials had made up their mind. Rice has got possession on the edge of the centre circle for England here. Works it to his left-hand side for Gahey. Gahey to Gordon. Gordon down the line past him for Phil Foden. Foden not necessarily at his incisive best in that first 45 minutes. Maybe guilty of being just a little bit too safe on occasions with his passing. Mainu working it forward inside the penalty area here. Cleared out as far as Konsa. Konsa not heeding the cries to shoot. Another does Declan Rice. They will both feed Kyle Walker. Walker goes to Cole Palmer. Twice. Palmer's got it now. Left-footed clipped inside the penalty area. Foden making a run. Ingersson, the only player that's been booked so far, are getting it away. Trippier mopping up at the back for England. Plays it to Ezri Konsa. Konsa to Gahey. And Gahey back towards Kieran Trippier again. You can expect that the vast majority of play is going to be concentrated away to our left-hand side in this second half. The half that England are attacking, the old tunnel end here at Wembley Stadium. Anthony Gordon has shown up well. Working forward in towards Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo to Foden on the half turn. Better pass from him that time. Gordon back for Foden. Left-footed and wide. Much better from England. They've been more purposeful in the opening 3 minutes of this second half. Neither Kane nor Foden have been able to hit the target from half chances.
Yeah, the build-up's been on this left-hand side. It was mainly on the left in the first half. Any good parts from England, but certainly great play there in the start of the second half from Foden and Gordon, combining extremely well together.
He got a couple of goals, as I mentioned earlier, against Iceland back in 2020, his first for his country. Surprisingly, bearing in mind how many goals he scored for Manchester City, he's only scored 2 more goals for England since that day in more than 3.5 years. He's never really got going in terms of being a goal scorer for his country. He scored 4. That's still more than Jude Bellingham has got, bearing in mind how prolific Jude has been. He's only got 3 in 29 games. He's scoring more goals from midfield. Certainly something that England need to do to supplement the heavy artillery of Harry Kane up front.
That's quite incredible, really, when you consider what these players have done at their club level, Jim, you know.
27 goals for Phil Foden for City this season, including 18 since the turn of the year. Ball clipped inside the Icelandic penalty area here, and both centre-halves went for it, but they got the lines of communication right in time for Ingersson to be able to take control to head the ball away over Gretarsson, his centre-half partner. Walker wins it back on the right-hand side of midfield, and England recycle it through the midfield from Konsa, back for Gahey. now work forward again towards Declan Rice. Takes the ball on the turn. Time to get away from Haraldson. Good ball down the right-hand side of the area for Walker. Back inside the penalty area. It's flicked down, almost broke Foden's way. Rice recycles in with the header to keep it alive. His starting position's been 5 yards in advance in this second half from where it was in the first. Does leave England slightly prone to a counter-attack, and Gahey with another important block with his heel on the halfway line there. Stopped the latest Icelandic attempt, but now Kane will be able to bring it forward. Kane clipping him with the outside of the right boot in towards the edge of the penalty area. Palmer, the angle was tight by the time he got a shot in, and he could only hit the side netting.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Just going back to the attack beforehand, Gahey done extremely well. Just got an interception where a ball beyond him would have caused us big problems. And Harry Kane, great setup and great movement in behind by Palmer on that occasion. Just got good contact, just forced too far wide, and his effort into the side net.
A slight problem for the Icelandic centre-half Gretarsson here, who's down on the edge of the 6-yard box. England at the start of this second half have been more purposeful going forward. Declan Rice's starting position has been that little bit higher, but of course when that happens you do leave yourself even more susceptible to a counter-attack, and Iceland have only got to get it right once to dig England a pretty big trench to have to get out of. We're just actually on the monitors here seeing another replay of the problem that Stones received very early in the game. It's the opening couple of minutes when he was wrestled to the ground by Torstensson, and his ankle just buckled underneath him as he went down. And just hope that isn't a significant problem for John Stones. Henry Winter mentioned at half-time he's seen such little action, only 2 hours of action over the last 7 weeks for club and country, but off injured again tonight, hopefully merely as a precaution. Anderson making his way forward here. He's given a free kick away. There was just a little shove on Mark Gahey. And it's a free kick that will be taken on the left-hand side of England's penalty area. 7 minutes into the second half. Iceland have led for 40 minutes now. Torstensson on 12 minutes with the only goal of the night so far, but England more promising going forward at the beginning of the second period.
Yeah, they are. I thought we were a little bit disappointed in the game at Newcastle, Jim, against Bosnia, but second half they come out and certainly improved the performance, and the same's happened again this half. I think a couple of words from the manager and a bit of redirection from the manager, we look more of a threat, certainly.
Is it a concern? Is it much of a concern for you that England have been slow burners in both of these games?
I've been there before, and when you play these games right on the top of tournaments, you've always got it in your mind as a player that you don't want to get injured.
Now Rice has slipped it through. Great chance for England to equalise here. The goalkeeper did well. He stood up and he forced Palmer's hand and forced him wider and wider. In the end, England get a corner out of it, but it might have been an equaliser.
Yeah, Valmarsson, the goalkeeper, done brilliantly well, I've got to say. Great movement once again. Palmer off the line, good forward ball. I don't think it was meant for him, but it arrived at his feet. And then when he went wide on his left foot, he delayed, but the goalkeeper weren't falling for it, stood on his feet as long as he could. And I thought he defended it brilliantly, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, deflected it away with his right shin, out of play for a corner that England had worked short. Trippier, back for Walker. Walker 35 yards out into the feet of Phil Foden, who comes away from the corner of the penalty area to receive it, but too much on his ball for Anthony Gordon, and that one drifts out of play for a goal kick. More signs of attacking promise at the beginning of this second half, but so far Valdimarsson and co are keeping them out. Let's go back to Hampden, find out what's going on in that Scotland-Finland game. Talksport's Paul Mitchell.
Well, it's a Finnish player that scored, but it is for Scotland. Scotland 1, Finland 0. Andy Robertson down the left-hand side, inside the box, crossed it. Arturo Hoskonen sending it past his own goalkeeper from inside the 6-yard box. Unfortunate for the defender, but Scotland leads. Scotland 1, Finland 0.
Scotland ahead there, Iceland ahead here, and Greece still lead away to Germany. In the Germans' warm-up game in Mönchengladbach tonight, Masura scoring just past the half hour in that game. Iceland with Ingerson working back for his goalkeeper Valdimarsson. Clearance from him down towards the right-hand side. Bjarkason, who's filling in at right back tonight. He's started very few games on that side in his career over the last 4 or 5 years or so. A player that is playing Serie B football in Italy. But he's stood up well, by and large, to the challenge of Anthony Gordon tonight. Walker making his way forward. Grettison is able to clear. Conte will chase after it and field inside his own half. Just joining us here on Talksport, Conte on as a half-time sub, replacing John Stones. And the concern over a potential ankle injury for John Stones is certainly something that Faker and others will be talking about tomorrow morning on our England special, joined by Stuart, Henry Winter, amongst other guests, looking back at tonight and looking ahead to the tournament itself, which of course starts this time next week with Scotland against Germany in Munich. You'll hear that game and the subsequent 50 from the Euros live with passion on the Talksport network. Every game for you. Foden laying the ball off for Mainu in the midfield here as England trail. Traustason with a good challenge has won it back. Hamilton trying to get the ball forward, forced by Declan Rice to play back for Bjarkason. A little bit more intensity in the England press there than we saw at times in the first half. And Gordon trying to win it back from Bjarkason, who somehow has been able to emerge with possession. Now Hamilton chasing down the right-hand side. Rice very quickly back goal side. Judged to have fouled Haraldson. And Trippier wasn't sure about the decision. There were no complaints from Rice himself. And it's a free kick to Iceland, about 10 yards inside the England half.
Jim, I think someone's mentioned about this pressing at half-time. England look a lot better and a bit more intensity in going after the ball. On that occasion, they went after it in numbers. But credit to the Icelandic players. They played out the press really well, and you don't mind that. Sometimes that happens. You go after teams, and if they play through you, credit to them.
Since the 2018 World Cup, Iceland have played 12 games against the top 10 opposition in the world as a shot comes in from distance from Gudjonsson. That's comfortably claimed by Ramsdale. Played 12 games against top 10 sides in the world. They've lost each of the last 10 of those. Their last win against top 10 opposition was against England in Nice in the Euros. Another opportunity from distance here from Iceland, and that was deflected away off Konsa and goes out of play for a corner that will be taken on the Iceland right.
Yeah, it was Declan just got caught in midfield there, and Iceland straight onto it. Well, the one thing they do, if they get a sniff of an attack, they do go with pace. And on that occasion, the shot just deflected wide.
Kai Havertz has equalised for Germany in that game against Greece. 56 minutes gone there, 1-1. We played 57 here, and Iceland lead 1-0, hoping to double their advantage from this, their first corner of the second half. Johan Gudmundsson, the former Charlton Burnley man, to swing it in. Raises his right arm above his head. Left-footed delivery towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Commanding header away came from Ezri Konsa. Iceland turning the ball back inside the penalty area. Konsa deals with that one as well. Getting it clear towards halfway, where Finson, the blonde-haired left-back, mops up and guides it back for his goalkeeper, Valdimarsson. Valdimarsson in all black tonight, clearing it right-footed over halfway, where it clears Gehi and Gudjonsson. And it's headed by Trippier back for his goalkeeper. It's been another goal at Hampden Park, Paul.
And it's Scotland 2, Finland 0. Andy Robertson again the supplier, this time more conventional. Over to Lawrence Shankland, and the Hearts striker reaching past the defender to squeeze the ball in with a fine header inside the 6-yard box. Scotland 2, Finland 0.
Finland, one of England's opponents in the forthcoming Nations League campaign in the autumn. We'll bring you all of those games live as well. Ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area here, but Gordon has overhit it for Kane. And it drifts innocuously out of play for a goal kick. 58 gone, England 0, Iceland 1.
Yeah, I've got a feeling there's certainly a bit of movement on the bench now, and there's every chance, normally that 60-minute mark, there'll be subs coming on to have an influence in the game, given them the last half hour.
Ask you in a moment who you want to see coming on, who you feel will be able to step things up for England here as Trippier plays it forward. Out of the left-hand side of the penalty area is Kobbie Mainoo. If he might be one of the players to be replaced, and we'll see Wharton get half an hour again as he got for his debut on Monday, where he was absolutely superb. Mark Gehi on the edge of the centre circle. 4 from him for Kieran Trippier. Trippier put under no pressure, able to bring the ball forward and find Gordon. Gordon with a little reverse inside the box for Mainu. Mainu trying to work it to the edge of the area. Rice flicking it forward. Foden couldn't get himself into a shooting position, and Vincent is able to get it away.
Yeah, I think from the substitute, what does the game need? It might need a Trent Alexander just to mix things up with his range of passing. If we're talking solely about getting back into this game and winning the game, and I think with what we saw up at St James's Park, Eze would be worth another run out for half hour.
I think we're going to see Alexander-Arnold and Eze, and it looks like Tony and Saka and maybe Joe Gomez as well. Confirm those changes for you for England very shortly, but they look as though they're going to be the 5 that are coming on. We've already seen one change made when Konsa came on at half-time for Stones. Konsa's got it now. Londoner plays it out towards the right-hand side for Kyle Walker. Walker back here for Declan Rice. Rice 5 yards outside the penalty area to Kyle Walker. Walker stops the ball. Everything stops for a moment. And Walker clips it in. It comes off Torstensson and goes out of play for a throw. So here are all the changes. And it's going to be Alexander-Arnold, Saka, Eze, Tony and Gomez. They're the 5 that are coming on.
Yeah, I think sensible, to be fair. Ivan Toney certainly needed a run out in an England shirt before he jets on the aeroplane, and Trent Alexander once again got the opportunity with his range of passing. Saka needs to be on the pitch as well, having not played it earlier in the week.
Iceland will be making a change shortly as well. I think we're going to see Torstensson come on for them. It's a good ball forward from Gahey. Kane trying to roll his man on the edge of the penalty area. Smuggle back for the goalkeeper, who clears before the advancing Foden can block that clearance and put it into the net. England get it back inside their own half. The ball goes through the centre circle for Konsa. Pretty much one-way traffic, but it's been the way of it throughout the majority of the game. Walker in towards the edge of the area. Mainu with a little flip layoff for Palmer. Palmer to Foden. Cleared then by Anderson on this near touchline. He might be the Icelandic player who's going to be coming off. Trippier works it back for Mark Gahey. 62 minutes gone, so about half an hour of playing time still remaining. England have been behind since the 12th minute. Foden, a little bit too intricate, not incisive enough as he laid it off for the on-rushing Gordon, and it was clear. Anderson working forward down the right-hand side, and England have been sprung at the back again. Hamilton inside the penalty area, chance to make it 2. He rolls it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and sliding in at the far post, Torstensson couldn't get the touch to steer it into a pretty unguarded goal. And England have got away with it again.
They certainly have. Our backline's been breached on too many occasions for my liking, and on that occasion it was a good run, to be fair. He held his run up brilliantly, could have strayed offside, and when he's gone in on goal, he's got to take that on himself for me. Ramsdale was sort of very deep on his goal line near enough. He tried the unselfish thing, and I don't think that was the pass on.
So Iceland will make the first change. Anderson off and Thordarson on. He plays his club football in Denmark. His father, his uncle and a couple of great uncles all play for Iceland, so keeping up the tradition. Here come England's changes. First off, Harry Kane, so he's not going to equal that long-standing record from Steve Bloomer and Wayne Rooney of scoring in a 7th successive home international. Kane off. Walker has come off as well. Kieran Trippier makes way. Anthony Gordon similarly makes his way off the field. And those are the changes made. Big appreciation for Bukayo Saka as he comes on. He's scored 20 goals for Arsenal this season, including 11 in his last 19 games, but just missed the end of the domestic season through injury. Didn't feature the other night for England. Good to see him back involved here. Ivan Toney trying to get involved in the action straight away. Chasing forward, goes to ground. Scooped away from him by Ingerson. It's not a penalty, but it will be a corner.
Yeah, he's gone to the ground, put the defender under big pressure there. And a good run, certainly, in his first interaction on the pitch, and opportunity for a decent corner now.
And as England correspondent Faye Carruthers has pointed out to me, it's a byproduct of those changes. Phil Foden has gone into a more central role now, and Palmer out of the left. In comes the corner. Left-footed ball swept inside the penalty area, and it's knocked away. Back out towards Joe Gomez. He's turned it forward. Ivan Toney couldn't get there. It's been lost at the back here by Trent Alexander-Arnold, and a chance for Iceland just to bring it forward. England have very quickly got the white shirts back to prevent any thought of a counter-attack. Traustason eventually has to slide into the midfield to maintain possession for Iceland. Now a long left-footed ball out towards the Icelandic right-hand side. Should be kept in, and is, by Haraldsson. He plays it back for Jan Berg Gudmundsson. Back from him to Gretarsson. To the left flank for Torsteinsson. Goal scorer. Right-footed ball inside the box. Konsa able to chest it down and clear. Out only as far as Gudmundsson. Left-footed effort from him. Takes a deflection. And that goes behind for another Icelandic corner.
Yeah, whilst they've not had a lot of attacking threat, Iceland, they've got the goal and had one or two breaks in behind our back line that have got our heart rate up a touch.
They still lead 1-0. There's the thoughts of Stuart Pearce, the former England captain, talking through every kick of every England game throughout the course of the Euros here on Talksport. 6 in blue inside the England penalty area as the corner comes in pretty deep. Coming around the back is Ingerson. He's headed it down. Ramsdale gambled, threw himself to the floor, and the ball hit him.
Well, we've got very, very fortunate there. Spun round the back, and I think he'd lost Gahey there and got in. Ramsdale certainly pulled off a very good save at close range.
Well, there have been some better moments for England in the second half, but there have been two main criticisms of them in this game. Firstly, the lack of intensity in a forward press, and secondly, how easy it has been to get round the back of the England back line, either in counter-attacking opportunities or from set pieces. Gomez, left-hand side, the ball is whipped inside the penalty area by Palmer, and it's comfortably claimed by Valdimarsson, who comes out and takes it off the head of Ivan Toney. We're midway through the second half, Stuart. It's not going with the script. 1-0 to Iceland.
No, it certainly isn't. We didn't see this scoreline, certainly at this stage. We were probably hoping for a more comfortable evening scoreline-wise, but it's like everything. You learn something all the time when you're in that technical area as a manager.
So England now playing with Palmer on the left, Toney going through the middle, Saka on the right. It's Foden, Mainu and Rice as the three in midfield. Trent is at right back. Konsa and Gahey at centre half, and Gomez at left back. So England are lining up for the final quarter of this game. Is Mainu. And towards the left-hand side for Cole Palmer. Palmer controlling the ball, working it infield. Away from the Icelandic substitute Torsteinsson. Now Konsa goes out to the England right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. Saka picking up possession. Rice clipping it over the top. An opportunity for Trent Alexander-Arnold to get round the back. Pulls it in for Toney. Who's slightly behind him. Turning towards goal, but he bobbled it into the ground and it loops up and goes wide.
Yeah, good interchange there by Rice and Trent Alexander. A little give and go. He's pulled it back, and Toney, he's just cannoned it right foot onto his left foot, I think, in an attempt at trying to get his body round and get it on target and fashion something.
Valdimarsson to take the goal kick. Iceland getting ever closer to a famous win. The victory that they had against England in Nice is the most single famous victory that the nation has ever seen. This wouldn't be too far behind it, albeit in a friendly. A shot from the edge of the penalty area, which is well blocked, but at some personal cost. And Torsteinsson unleashing from distance. He's taken one of the England defenders off his feet. And Mark Gahey down, lying face down in the turf. inside his own penalty area at the moment. We lost one centre-half to injury. Please don't say that's another.
Well, listen, the bravery of the boy was there for all to see. He's blocked one in the first half, done brilliantly. In the second half, again, got his body in line with the ball, stopping anything on target, and took it right on the temple and gone down. I'm sure. Well, there's been movement from him. He wasn't knocked out in any way, shape or form, but this certainly, when you get a blow on the head from that distance at that velocity, it's understandable that you stay down. But I think he's the one player who's come out with a lot of credit in the game.
You can see Gareth Southgate now, and he's not looking ashen-faced by any stretch of the imagination, but neither has he got a big grin on his face. He knows that this is some way short of optimal as a performance for England. The result ultimately doesn't matter, because all that matters is the next three results and then take it from there. But England have been poor in many aspects of their performance tonight, and there was so much anticipation and excitement on the basis of the squad that was named, but this feels like a big step back, Stu.
Yeah, it does. It's been a disappointing evening so far in the game, and I don't think, obviously, the elements of the game we've been disappointed with. For me, the press from the front's been really disappointing. I think it's improved in the second half. I think the coaching staff have certainly pointed that out. Gareth and the coaching staff have pointed that out at half-time. You can see the reaction of the players in respect to that. But we've not opened Iceland up as often as you would have thought with the personnel we've got in that front four during most of the game.
So what has to improve? How do England approach things against sides that play with a deep lying block, which has often been England's nemesis? There's been a frustration, and it's often felt that they're beating their heads against brick walls in situations like that. That seemed to be something that England have remedied, but how do they get over that in situations like this?
Well, I think what you've got to do, you've got to find another way. I think we've been playing intricate passes and trying to break teams down, break Iceland down, and it's worked on occasion, but not regularly enough. But when you end up putting the ball out wide, you've got to put it in the box to create chaos in the opposition, you know? That's really important to do that. And a side of the game that will improve your attacking chances is getting the press right.
Good to see Gay. He's back on his feet. They've gone through all the concussion protocol with him. It looks as though he's going to be able to continue. Let's get news of another goal at Hampden Park from Paul Mitchell.
That is come for Finland, Scotland 2, Finland 1. A VAR check has just confirmed that Benjamin Kalman has scored. The cross from the left-hand side from Ant-Man Kalman was there. Two substitutes combining. Scotland 2, Finland 1.
Thank you, Paul. So Gahey's just left the field for a moment. Play's going to continue with a long Icelandic throw inside the penalty area. It's headed on by Ingerson. He didn't get anything like the purchase that he wanted. It was cleared immediately behind him. Then Joe Gomez, as the next ball is played in, can head outside the box. Iceland will be able to get it back again. Haraldsson flicking into the feet on the edge of the penalty area and getting a return ball. Torstensson trying to deceive Joe Gomez, couldn't find a way past them. And England will be able to bring it away down the left-hand touchline, but they don't get too far. And Torstensson has got plenty of room with which to work. Lets the ball run towards the dead ball line. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area. It was Sigurdsson that was shaping for the spectacular. But he couldn't get it a shot away. And England will clear towards halfway. Gahey's back on the field. Ingerson playing it forward towards Torstensson. Little nutmeg of Gomez. They played round the back of him. Now towards the edge of the penalty area. Torstensson. Pass takes a deflection. Haraldsson will be able to pick it up. England just struggling to get a grip on the game at the moment. This has been Iceland's most sustained spell of passing and pressure. It's the substitute Torstensson who comes back inside. And now lays it towards the edge of the centre circle. Forward again down the left flank. Another chance to try and bring it forward, but Gareth Southgate has been able to put his foot in and bring it away. And ultimately he's won a throw, which England will take over on that far side. 16 minutes for England to get themselves back into this game. They still trail by a goal to nil.
Yeah, they certainly do, and at the moment you would say Iceland have settled into the game. Straight after the second half there was an upturn in England's play. We've had the odd attempt, if you like, in and around then, but not enough clear opportunities, I don't think.
Now Another ball that's just speared over the top of the England back line. Sigurdsson making his way forward, tackled on the edge of the penalty area by the retreating Alexander-Arnold. And it goes out of play for a corner. On the strength of the last 5 minutes, you'd say that there is going to be a second goal tonight. Iceland look the more likely side to score. England will make their final change in a moment. Eze will be coming on for Gordon. And that one was delayed after the quadruple change that was made. They just sat back on that just for a few minutes. Iceland with another corner. It's their third of the second half. Right-footed in towards the near post. And cleared by Ivan Toney. And a left-footed speculative effort. Ramsdale beats it away. It was Finson who tried his luck. He was 40 yards out and swept it in with his left foot. Saw Ramsdale was off his line. And Ramsdale had to take a couple of very hasty steps back and just somehow get his hands behind it and flick it over the bar.
Well, to say he swept the shot at it was an understatement. It went as high as it did long, right up in the air, and it was just dipping under the bar. I think Ramsdale, a bit dramatic maybe, could have called it, but played safe.
In comes the corner. England deal with it in the near post area and get it away. It goes back out towards the far touchline out for another throw. England at the moment cannot get out of their own final third. So here's the final change. It's Palmer that comes off. Is that on for him? What have you made of Cole Palmer?
I think he's been steady away. I wouldn't say he's excited me a great deal, I've got to say, but he's put the odd cross into the box. It's been quite decent, good combinations just after the second half started, which were quite good, so he's done okay, but I'm not sure too many of the England players can come away with the sort of 8 out of 10 mark, if I'm being honest with you, Jim.
Abera Chiesa is on for the final 15 minutes. Another long throw inside the penalty area. Headed away by Toney, and then on by Saka, and brought down in the centre of midfield by Gretarsson. Gretarsson to Bjarkason. Bjarkason will gun it back inside his own half for his centre half again. Finson, who came close moments ago. Another long ball forward down the left-hand side for Torsteinsson. And Alexander-Arnold came back and knocked it away before he could get round the back of the England back line again. But the possession for Iceland has been better now than at any previous stage. And England, if anything, looked disrupted by the changes where they were galvanised by them the other night.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. There was an improvement at Newcastle the other night when the changes were made. Not so much tonight. And it's that press from the front that worries me, because the last foray that Iceland had behind our back line come from literally them playing the ball through the thirds, getting turned and just putting the ball over our back line. Quite straightforward football.
It's been a night 77 minutes in where England have had one shot on target against the side ranked 72nd in the world. The lowest ranked side that England have failed to beat under Gareth Southgate was North Macedonia back in November in an away qualifier in which England had already won the group. Well, the Macedonians 5 places higher in the ELO rankings than Iceland are at the moment. So a defeat in this game would go down as the single worst result, statistically anyway, of Gareth Southgate's reign. And reiterate the point that was made. This result neither here nor there in the grand scheme of things. The next 3 certainly are, but this has been a performance that will worry the England manager without a shadow of a doubt. We will hear from him, irrespective of what happens over the final 12 minutes of play. England correspondent Faker Wells will be asking the questions. He will give, as I'm sure he always does, very honest and forthright assessment of how his side have played tonight. There aren't going to be too many positives for him, and a major concern over John Stones going off. England have another free kick. Haraldsson has been booked for his challenge, and a chance to get the bodies forward towards the edge of the penalty area here. Still 1-0 Iceland.
Yeah, that could be a big blow, John Stones. We just hope it's just precautionary, really, but he went down under a bit of weight as well, falling onto that right ankle, so fingers crossed on that one.
I mean, the only saving grace, I suppose, is that he did play on for another 40 minutes after it, so maybe that indicates it's not disastrous. Ball inside the penalty area is headed over the bar by Ivan Toney. Difficult chance for him. He got on the end of the free kick, just trying to get in between Traustason and Gretarsson. And a difficult chance as he stumbled to get the effort on target from Alexander-Arnold's delivery. It's still 1-0 to Iceland, as it's been for more than an hour here on Talksport. Let's quickly go back to Hampden in the closing stages there. Scotland ahead by the odd goal in 3, Paul.
Yeah, Scotland doing okay now, Jim. Scotland 2, Finland 1, an own goal. Artie Hoskonen got the scoring started after Finland had been relatively untroubled. Lawrence Shanklin getting his 3rd Scotland goal. This is 11th cap. But Finland pull run back through Benjamin Kalman with 18 minutes to play. Craig Gordon is on getting his 75th cap. That's a nice touch. He's not likely to be part of the Scotland squad going to Germany. Scotland 2, Finland 1.
Thank you, Paul. In the final 10 minutes here. And Iceland preparing to bring on a player born in Sutton Coldfield in a moment. The ball will work down the England right-hand side for Bukayo Saka. There's a poor challenge on him from Finson. Saka has stayed down for a moment, but is just getting back to his feet now. And Finson becomes the 3rd Icelandic player booked. It's an England free kick, level with the edge of the Iceland penalty area.
Yeah, good movement, good pace by Saka. Just got the ball, and Finson doing exactly what fullbacks do when they miss the challenge. Just loop their foot up and bring the wide players down.
Yeah, you've taught him well.
Good opportunity here, I think, to whip the ball in. I'm quite confident. I think England's goal is coming now, Jim. Don't often predict a goal, but I think it's coming now.
With 9 minutes to go. It has to come soon. Free kick level with the edge of the box, out towards the right-hand touchline. And just about everybody formed for England to attack it. Iceland have got 2 in a wall, which stands on the far side of the penalty area as we look at it. And the other 8 outfield players all back in the box. In comes the free kick. You were nearly right. Valdimarsson came out, threw himself at it Superman style. It was good goalkeeping because his punch got the ball towards the halfway line. England work it back over the top with Mainu, looking for Ezra on the left. Torstensson, the goal scorer, is able to head it away, and then it goes out for a throw that will be taken by England on halfway. And Iceland are going to make at least a double change in a moment, but not quite in a position to do it yet. We're going to see Johannesson and Sigurdsson come on. Here's Kobbie Mainu. 8 minutes to go. England trailing 1-0. Rice for Alexander-Arnold. Ball chipped over the top from him. Too long for Saka. We just haven't had enough care in possession frequently. Trent has got this wonderful range of passing. He's by no means the only guilty culprit. Far from it, not the worst. But they just haven't been able to really show the passing radar to good effect at all tonight. Iceland making the changes. And we're going to see Sigurdsson come on. Arne Sigurdsson, the Blackburn player, who is featuring for the first time since he injured his ankle against Israel back in March. He's not played for club or country since then. And he'll come on, and Isak Johannesson will come on as well. As I mentioned, born in Sutton Coldfield, where his dad, Joey Gudjonsson, was playing for Aston Villa. He spent the season at Fortuna Dusseldorf. He actually made his debut as a late substitute here at Wembley as a 17-year-old back in 2020. And he's going to come on now. So a double change made by Iceland with 7 minutes to go. And still England trailing 1-0. And still, if anything, lacking idea.
Yeah, we're not threatening. Good ball in from the last free kick, I've got to say. Goalkeeper Valdimarsson done extremely well in clearing that off the head of Ivan Toney.
Mainu. Foden. A bit more space for him. They try to play Ivan Toney offside, but they didn't get him offside. He's got it on the left-hand side of the penalty area. He's played it in. It's deflected away. Comes for Mainu. Mainu with a curling effort. But he didn't get it to dip in time. It clears the bar and out of play for a goal kick. And England has still only had one shot on target in 83 minutes.
Yeah, that will be the disappointing stat, I think, when we come away from this game. The fact that we've not threatened the goalkeeper as much as we would like. Almost look like an academy team that intricate with their passing, but no punch.
Valdimarsson taking the goal kick. High one. Worked forward through the midfield. Rice going up for it. It's headed down. Ezra going up for it as well. It breaks down on the left-hand side of the England midfield for Joe Gomez. And they'll play it forward from the back. And there's a penalty at Hampden Park.
And it's come for Finland. Olivia Outman steps up, sends Craig Gordon the wrong way. and Finland have come from 2 down to level by 2 apiece. The penalty was given after Craig Gordon was adjudged to have punched Thomas Galvez when he came out to try and punch the ball. Went to VAR, it went Finland's way, and it's 2-2 at Hampden.
That's Talksport's Paul Mitchell. 2-2 there. Here's Declan Rice working through the midfield here. It's England pressing for an equaliser, desperately trying to make something happen. Alexander-Arnold, Saka, his ball too high for Eza, and it goes past him, and the Icelandic back line out of play for a goal kick. You just sense it isn't going to come tonight. 5 minutes to go, 1-0 Iceland leading.
Yeah, we got men in the box there expecting the cross. It's almost, the game's beyond us. We're chasing the game, put the ball in the box. I'd have liked to have seen us done that a little bit more in the first half, Jim, I've got to say.
Clearance by Valdimarsson. Joe Gomez defending, and by fair means rather than foul, it did look as though he might just have given Gudjonsson a shove to the ground. Declan Rice is able to bring it forward. Mainu with a clever dummy, letting the ball run for Eza. Eza taking it on and now driving, playing into his left-hand side for Joe Gomez. Left-footed ball clipped in from him. Coming around the back is Alexander-Arnold, but he swept a first-time right-footed volley, and it goes not just out of play for a throw, but nearer the halfway line than the dead ball line.
Yeah, he's just called it on the half volley there. It's a shame that it didn't come on the full volley to him. I think we'd have had a chance akin to the goal he got a couple of days ago, but he's just tried to help it back into the danger zone and overcooked it.
There's a crowd of just over 81,000 here at Wembley tonight, or at least there was at some stage, and quite a few empty seats now. I think many supporters have seen enough and heading up Wembley way, not waiting for the send-off at the end of the game, not liking what they've seen tonight, heading for the tube stops. Iceland have a free kick. It's a free kick that they will take on the right-hand side with Johannesson. It would be Iceland's first ever victory over England on English soil, only the second time they would ever have beaten England. Johannesson taking the free kick, almost presented it to Ivan Toney. He did find his centre-half Gretesen. His ball over the top is too long for Torderson and goes out for a throw that will be taken on the England left. I didn't mention earlier in tonight, it's the first time since 1954 that England have gone 1-0 down in 3 successive Wembley internationals. Not the time to do it. Did come back in one of those against Belgium to salvage a draw in the 5th minute of stoppage time with a goal from Jude Bellingham. And it looks as though they're going to be leaving it almost as late tonight if they're going to salvage something here against Iceland. You handpick the opponents for your pre-tournament warm-up games. You want them to give you a decent examination after a fashion, but you also want to be able to beat them, and you expect to be able to beat them. And it looks as though it's not going to happen tonight. It's going to be some comeback out of context with the way the last 25 minutes have gone if England can yet turn this around. Another long throw coming inside the penalty area here from Torderson. Sorry, Stuart.
No problem, I totally agree, and this will be a big feather in the cap of Iceland to win on Wembley soil, that is for sure.
Absolutely, and it'll be deserved. In comes the long throw towards the near post. It's flicked on. England able to clear from the edge of the box. Saka and Finson mops up, goes all the way back for his goalkeeper. I think Alfred Valdimarsson would have expected to keep. It's only going to be his second international clean sheet tonight, but he's within touching distance of it now. One bonus to come. Eza battling in the midfield has done enough. Ivan Toney trying to bring the ball forward. Eza then trying to win a 50-50, can't do so, but Declan Rice behind them can take control of the situation. And now he motors forward and plays a disguised ball with the right foot down for Aberachi Eza again. He waits for Joe Gomez to make ground past him on the overlap. Ball instead goes towards Rice. Rice to Mainu, back for Eza. Very contrasting emotions, you would imagine, for Mainu from his last Wembley appearance, where he scored the winner in the FA Cup final just 13 days ago. Now Konsa, out towards Bukayo Saka. Better from England. Foden to Gomez, who's never scored a goal in his career for club or country. Never going to shoot from there. In the end, he played it back towards Konsa, but it wasn't the best ball. Konsa was able to rescue it. Ball inside the penalty area, headed on, and it's just come off the top of Mainu. And down for the goalkeeper again. We're in the 90th minute, and it's been lacklustre from England for most of the night. But if anything, they're going even further off the boil as the game draws to its conclusion. 1-0 to Iceland. We're on the verge of an historic win.
Yeah, certainly are. The squad being picked, all the players here know that they're going to be the ones entrusted in going to Germany and bringing a trophy back, and probably the performance not inspired that this evening from the fans' point of view.
Saka inside the penalty area with a shot that needed clearing. Bredesen got behind it. Out it comes again for Alexander-Arnold. His left-footed in-swinging delivery couldn't find Mainu. England about to go into stoppage time, and the Italian fourth official has the numbers board in his hand. How many extra minutes? It's going to be 5. Hasn't shown the crowd yet, he does now. Declan Rice. 4 again. And towards the right-hand side of the box. Play back for Rice. Rice to Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold to Rice. England not showing the urgency they need. Now it's clipped in towards Tony. It's come off the top of his head and goes out towards the left-hand touchline. Joe Gomez runs around and keeps it in. Back from him to Gahey. Rice motoring forward towards the edge of the box, finding Phil Foden. Foden to Alexander-Arnold. Low-driven cross in from him, but not with the necessary accuracy. And Bredesen can clear out as far as Konsa.
Yeah, I think he picked the wrong option there and went low. I think when a high dinker to the far post would have been the better option.
Forward England come again. Gomez making a run down the left. Ball goes back the other way towards Declan Rice. Now towards Saka. The end of the first of the 5 additional minutes. Foden to Rice, chipped over the top. Saka's going to be able to keep it in doing so. Just hooks his right foot underneath it, high up and under. Gomez heading it on. Keeper comes out, gets nowhere near it, and the resulting shot is dragged wide. They wouldn't have counted anyway. The offside flag is up on the far side. Real melee inside the penalty area. And more England disappointment.
Yeah, real skirmish there. Good play. Ball just hoisted over the back of the back line, but clearly offside Saka, I think, in the initial build-up.
Well, there's going to be a chastening reaction on the final whistle. And I think that is inevitable. How much purpose it will serve, I don't know. What will it do for the England players, do you think?
Well, they'll have to get over it. They'll be disappointed. Whenever you lose in your country shirt, Jim, you'll be very disappointed. No doubt about that. Not too many of them can turn around and say they've had good performances within the ranks. Understandable, I suppose, with the tournament coming up and a few days before travelling.
Alexander-Arnold getting it forward, but there's not the degree of care that is necessary on England's distribution. That one was cleared long before he got to Eze. Now it's worked inside the penalty area and knocked away. And out for another England throw. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. England taking a throw too quickly for the referee because Iceland want to make a change. And they're going to be bringing Fridriksson on. Another late call-up. He scored in his last 2 appearances in Swedish football for Häcken. He's a full-back. And so Fridriksson will be on for the closing stages, and Torstensson will leave the field. And he'll leave the field as the match winner. Has finished at Hampden Park 2-2. We'll get full-time details there at the end of this game. Pascal Gross has scored what's set to be a late winner for Germany in their game with Greece. England looking for a very late equaliser here. Berichy Eze, left-hand side of the penalty area. That's a better ball in, but it's headed away by Ingerson. Now towards Alexander-Arnold. Back from him towards Foden. Foden towards the edge of the penalty area. Turns. Can't find his man. It's swept away.
I'll tell you what the Icelandic defence have done. They've kept a really good line in the main. You know, they've come up together collectively. They've looked really good. Very well organised. Very straight back line. And when England have dipped in behind, they've either caught them offside or it's rare that they've got him behind on an easy chance.
Eze to Foden. Return ball for Eze. Blue shirt swarming all around him. He's laid it out towards the right-hand side, and this is worked right across the 6-yard box. He's taken a nick off an Icelandic player and deflected just, and I mean just, past the far post. It's as close as England have come to corner.
Yeah, Trent's got in the box there. He's driven one across low on that occasion. and it's gone through the legs of the first defender, it's clipped someone else, and there was a couple of defenders recovering who could have got a touch and diverted in their own goal. Fortunately for Iceland it didn't, unfortunately for us it didn't.
Alexander-Arnold to take the corner, last chance for England potentially, cleared out for Joe Gomez, back through a crowd, it's gone wide, he was never going to score from 25 yards out, and England are going to be beaten.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. A disappointing evening for us. It would have been nice to send the boys off and with a decent victory under our belt, but that's the nature of football.
It's going to be a big moment for Åge Hareide. He might be in his 8th decade, but it's a night that he will always look back on with an immense amount of pride. Iceland heading the ball on towards the edge of the England penalty area. There's barely time for them to mount one last attack. Back it goes towards Gudjonsson. Cleared by England. Forward towards Ivan Toney. Toney is fouled, and it's a free kick to England. Iceland have made one change in stoppage time, so that should add 30 seconds on, which means we've probably got 12, 13 seconds left to go. England have got to get it forward quickly here. It is now or never, and it's almost certainly going to be never. In fact, the referee says there's no time, and the boos and whistles speak volumes. There is a reality check, and a reality check of epic proportion. England humbled by Iceland, not for the first time, but as send-offs for major tournaments go, it's hard to remember one as bad as this. England's second best in several areas. Plenty of possession, no cutting edge, an injury to John Stones, a lack of intensity about a press. So many things wrong with England's performance tonight. The only saving grace that it happened 9 days before their first game in the tournament and not in the tournament itself. It really can only get better in Germany. England 0, Iceland 1.
Yeah, and you could clutch at straws and say they probably needed this and it's a good time to do it. It won't be as bad against Serbia, but it was really awful. So much so, there are whole swathes of empty red seats around Wembley by those who didn't want to hang around to the end, because it did look... Yes, there was a ball flashed across the goal at the end there from Trent Alexander-Arnold, but it did look like England could be here all night and still not score. And my positive take on it is, thank goodness there are no Euro 2024 games here at Wembley, because the Wembley form has just completely gone out of the window. Tonight it was flat, it looked tired, there was a lack of quality, there was a lack of fluency, one shot on target. You're thinking, hang on, it's got to be a lot better than this, but it just wasn't. And this afternoon on Talksport, Italy legend Alessandro Del Piero was on Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent, and he told those two that England's Euro 2024 chances are, quote, huge. That's the word he used. Huge, said Del Piero. Well, if you got excited by that, England's players properly planted your feet firmly back on the ground tonight. And fair play to Iceland, they absolutely did a job. What they've done is given Serbia a blueprint of how to beat England. Get stuck in physically, play them on the break, because the defence looks like it's never played together before, probably because it hasn't, and just put men behind the ball and you'll stifle England's creative players. Stuart Pearce, I'm not too sure how much we read into it from an England point of view. Will they be that bad against Serbia a week on Sunday in the first game at the Euros? They can't be that bad, can they?
Well, we know if they do play that badly, we probably won't score, and we certainly will get beaten. The high line was, whether it was a high line or not, I don't think it was a particularly big high line, but every time Iceland turned round and popped the ball in behind us, they seemed to get in. I thought the press from the front was poor, especially in the first half, more so the first half, I've got to say, and that contributed to the goal we conceded, in my opinion. There's certainly a few things to look at. We played intricately in and around little triangles, but we're lacking a real cutting edge, I think, you know what I mean? And if you give the opposition time to play the ball out and not threaten them or threaten the ball, they'll dictate the tempo of the game, they'll slow the game down, and they'll stay in the game as long as they can, especially like Iceland, who got a goal, got their nose in front and said, well, if you're not coming to press us at the back here, we'll just keep the ball and run the clock down.
That's exactly what they did, and they got the win, and fair play to them. They've just gone over to their fans to applaud them for their support, and Iceland get the win. England players are going round It's a lap of appreciation, but there's not many fans left, I have to say, and maybe it's just calmed everybody down, and maybe just needed to calm everybody down before the Euros get underway this time next week, when we'll be in Munich for Germany against Scotland. By the way, Pascal Gross's late winner for Germany to turn it around and beat them at Big Greece 2-1 was absolutely magnificent. It's a super strike from the Brighton man. Germany winning by 2-1, and they will take on Scotland. They'll be there in the football arena in Munich for that game. Scotland, well, they were giving everybody optimism, and then it all started to go a little bit wrong. Paul Mitchell.
It did. Scotland 2, Finland 2. After a quiet first half, Scotland scored twice in the first 13 of the second to take control of this one. Andy Robertson was the heart of both goals. The first saw Finnish defender Arttu Hoskonen inadvertently deflect the ball over his own goalkeeper. That was the first error the Finnish team had made. The second goal saw Lawrence Shankland cleverly head home from inside the 6-yard box. It should have been plain sailing from there, but with 18 minutes to go, Benjamin Kalman headed a Galvez cross low into the corner past Craig Gordon. Then Craig Gordon came to punch another dangerous ball into the box. Not quite sure where the defenders were, and while he touched the ball, the referee pointed to the spot as Thomas Galvez was taken out. Finland, who'd never scored more than a single goal against Scotland, netted again from the spot. Oliver Antman sending Gordon the wrong way. Not the mood enhancer Scotland were hoping for. However, Germany calling. Scotland 2, Finland 2.
Well, at least they didn't lose, unlike England, who were beaten 1-0 here at Wembley against Iceland, live on Talksport. One other friendly, two sides that will be at the Euros. Poland beat Ukraine by 3-1. The doyen of football journalists, Henry Winter, is with us in the commentary position at Wembley. Sum that up. I did it by saying not good enough, Henry. What do you think?
Well, lukewarm up, I think, was my my sort of headline on it. I mean, it was actually about sort of 10 minutes from full time. I got hit by a paper dart, which is not the hardest thing I've been ever hit by. But I opened it up and it had a picture of Jude Bellingham on it. So I thought, well, you know, all is not lost. He will come back in. He will give that extra urgency and that sort of forward threat in the number 10. I mean, we voted, I'm sure you did as well, we voted for Phil Foden as Footballer of the Year, but we didn't see the Manchester City Phil Foden there. I mean, whether that's the quality of the players around you, but England have got good players out there. I assume Anthony Gordon, I don't know how you guys called it, but I thought Gordon was good on the left. I thought Mark Gahey was good. Declan Rice brought a bit of urgency, so you've always got to look for the positives. I don't know what the prognosis is on John Stones, because that'll be a huge loss. What's that? 72 caps you'd be losing there. That experience at the back, particularly when you look at the sort of, you know, the lack of experience around him. So look, that's the most important thing, getting fit. But England have got to play with greater urgency and protect the ball better.
Well, you talked at half-time about friendlies, and before the game, about friendlies before you go to tournaments and how much you can read into them. We won't be this bad a week on Sunday, will we, in Gelsenkirchen?
We won't, and it'll be interesting because they'll have been in the camp, they'll have watched the opening game, they'll have realised, they'll have a look at how it's going to be refereed, the urgency of the players. Scotland-Germany is never going to be a quiet one. There'll be a lot of pressing in that game as well. So absolutely they'll raise their game. Iceland, I mean, it was, you know, it's kind of their cup final, without using a cliche. It's really huge. They were absolutely up for this. England were only at sort of 75%.
Absolutely true. I mean, Stuart, by the way, we're going to get reaction from the England camp as soon as possible on this show and on the Sports Bar Weekender, which is coming up with Adam Cattrall and Carlton Cole. If you want to get your calls in early, feel free. A lot to say about that performance heading to a Euros. 03717 223344. Let's take it defensively first of all, Stuart Pearce. At times, they were just hitting balls long over the top, and England were having to turn around and chase, and it looked too easy. You talked about a high line, saying it wasn't necessarily that big. It certainly wasn't clever what England were doing, but how does it go that wrong so easily if you're an England defence?
Well, that's a difficult one. I mean, you'd have to sit down and analyse the analysis of it and say, you know, where was the problem? Too many times I saw the Iceland players, especially in the first half, this ball over just inside Trippier for the wide right player to run in behind, and that was a problem to us. I thought a bright part of the game, Mark Gahey, I thought done quite well, got a couple of really good blocks in, very brave blocks. Stopped a few attacks breaking through as well, and probably cut out one or two balls that were going in behind our back line to cause us more of a problem. But you're right what you say, we played as a back four that looked a little bit fragmented in regard, and we're going to have to, over the next few days, try and solve one or two of the problems that were there evidently for us today.
Stuart, you obviously had a fantastic left foot. What is it, if you have a right-footed player, as in Trippier, playing at left back, presumably the opposition knows he's going to turn inside every time?
There is that. Also, as well, you've got a situation where your angles are not absolutely bang on. You know, you think, well, you're a full-back, you can play left, you can play right. You put me at right back, and I only ever played there once. Terry Venables brought me on against Romania, and I was very left-sided, I understand that, and Trippier's used to playing over on the left, but it's difficult. Your angles are slightly... Things that come naturally to you playing on the left weren't natural to me playing on the right-hand side, so it's not as easy as it actually looks, and that's where it comes into question. And I've been saying it for months, the importance of Luke Shaw is absolutely vital to this football team.
Just one other thing on moving from the right to the left. I remember Gary Neville talking very interestingly about this, about how Sir Alex Ferguson got in an eye expert to strengthen those, because they found that the full-backs, because the arc of the pitch was for Gary as a right back was from right to left, one of his eyes was stronger than the other. I don't know whether you found that. It was obviously it was a sort of generation before Gary.
I only thought Gary had actually one eye in the middle of his head. That's new. That's news to me, Henry. You know. But
I was trying to make a point about sports science, and you've taken it back to.
Well, I think Woodward tried to go in and do all that analysis on the eyesight of certain players and whatever. But you see a different angle, and if you've grown up your whole life looking at the football pitch, and there it looks, I've got the touchline to my left, I've got the open side of the pitch there. To go and play a different side is slightly different.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Mark Gay, just very, very quickly on him, the one he blocked with his temple was pure Stuart Pearce. I mean, it was like John Terry. You have to put your body on the line in those situations. He didn't care what happened to him. He just wanted to block the ball, and you've got to admire that.
You certainly have. It's situations like that. We end up losing the game 1-0. So if we hadn't and we got back in the game, got an equaliser or got a winner, you've got to track that back to Gahey's blocking at this end of the pitch in the first half, and he's block up that end as well in the second.
Yeah, he's come out of it with credit. Gordon as well to a lesser extent, I think. But Phil Foden, everybody's been saying, Henry, play him as a number 10, play him in his correct position. We all believe he is that attacking midfielder, that number 10. But I didn't see it tonight. I didn't see Phil Foden grab hold of the game like we know he should be.
We talked to Southgate about this the other day, about is he a 10, which obviously he is. He's talked about it. He loves playing that role for Manchester City. But Southgate was making the point it's not necessarily where you start off, i.e. he can start on the left and then sort of move inside to link up with Jude Bellingham when he sort of comes in for the Serbia game. I mean, on the left, I just thought it was a good night for Anthony Gordon. I just thought there was a bit of chalk on his boots. He was absolutely sort of direct. Whether he got man of the match, I don't know, but I thought he was terrific.
Right, OK, let's hold on to that point. Anthony Gordon played well on the left. I think we're all agree with you on that. Phil Foden didn't play well as number 10. Jude Bellingham is going to come in as number 10. Does that mean, possibly against Serbia, Gareth Southgate doesn't start Phil Foden?
The Footballer of the Year. I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, you look at how many players were actually almost playing number 10. Harry Kane was dropping off. We know that he's a 9, he's a 10, he's a 9.5. Some of the best passes that England played in the first half when Kane dropped off. You know, a bit like he did in Seville against Spain a couple of years back. So, but it'll be different when Bellingham's in there. But you're right. I'm sure the headlines tomorrow will be, how do we get Phil Foden to play for England as he does for Manchester City?
Did you actually just answer that question?
No.
He's a politician now, Henry. I'll tell you one thing. Come next Sunday, Foden will be in the team. Because if I'm Gareth, with the clamour for get this in, get that in, get in, one game shouldn't shake you off putting the players in that I think are on form. Phil Foden's on form, whichever way we like it. Tonight,
he'll start on the left against Serbia.
Of course.
If Phil Foden's on form for Manchester City, I don't know a Man City, someone who isn't a Manchester City fan who admires Phil Foden more than I do, but he hasn't conjured up a raft of stellar performances for England, and that's a concern for me. I find it, on the basis of his Man City form alone, absolutely incomprehensible we can even be having this debate about whether he starts for England, because I think he's a sensational talent. But I don't know that we know how to get him into the England team to be at his most effective. And it could be, and this is something that you've gone on about, Stu, for a long time, about how the game is more of a squad game now than it's ever been before, and that substitutions will be more important than they ever have been before. I just wonder whether, he is going to end up being an impact sub. And I almost hate myself for saying that and doubting his talent, but we just don't see it quite often enough, for whatever reason, in an England shirt.
Jim, I think he'll start and then the ball's in his court to play himself out the team or stay in the team. That's the way I see Phil Foden at the moment. I think he's done enough at his club side over the last 6 months to start a major tournament. Listen, this game aside, you'd have probably said Foden, it's a no-brainer. Foden's definitely got to be in your starting lineup. I think this game will be disregarded and he'll start next Sunday, and it's down to his performances to get dropped or stay in.
But on that basis that we're expecting that the only position you can play him is on the left-hand side,
yes,
have England missed a trick by not using him on the left-hand side at any stage tonight?
Listen, I think he's astute enough to either play well enough as a number 10 or drift into that area to play tucked inside with Jude Bellingham. He'll go where he sees. He's an intelligent footballer, so he'll find that. So I don't think giving him a curtain call on the left-hand side, if you're playing him next Sunday, would have made or broke him, really.
So we've got two definites. Phil Foden starting next Sunday. Jim's I
think he will.
Okay.
I think he will, and I think that he will justify his place on the strength of the form that he's shown for club and country over the last 12 months. Well, sorry, for club over the last 12 months. But the point I would make is, and we touched on it in commentary, he scored 2 international goals in nearly 4 years. And I still think that we're not sure how to bring the best out of him for a team. You don't need the best 11 individuals, you need the best team. That's something that we saw in the so-called golden generation as one of the reasons why we fell short. I'm just putting it out there that maybe, with the form that Ezra has been in, Gordon played really well tonight, a more orthodox left winger might bring more to the team. I'm not saying that Phil Foden shouldn't play, but I'm just not convinced that is the right balance to bring the best out of Foden.
Henry, did we see as well, there will be some saying, hang on a minute, does this prove that off the bench a Maddison or a Grealish with his ability to win free kicks might have been better to have them in the squad to try and change a game like this?
I guess Gareth's argument against that would be he's got Eze who can come on. Obviously he's got Bellingham to come back. I had less of an issue about Maddison not being in the squad because his form's not been great, and as we've seen recently with England, they've got enough number 10s, but Grealish does give you that element. I don't know